In terms of like, because I really don't relate him to the theme of being a kid and stuff. So
yeah. Sure, that's fine. I think Conti's a hard one. Monkey, any thoughts on Conti?
Who's Conti?
Okay, great. Vivi, any thoughts on Conti?
Conti is the robot.
Hello and welcome back to my first anime Flcl. This week we will be doing the final 3 episodes and wrapping it up. My name is Chris Bailey.
My name is Salvador, also known as Monkey.
my name is Anthony Vaught.
And my name is Matt Clemens. I'm also go by Vivi as well.
Yes, our special guest for Flcl. I guess just we'll go straight to our anime minute, which for me, I guess is kind of turning into more of a manga minute.
Ooh, what are you reading?
So I got through Hunter x Hunter. Well, I got through where the anime reaches on Hunter x Hunter. So I still have, I think I'm into the current arc, but I'm going to let that sit for a while because if the author can go on hiatus from writing it, I could go on hiatus from reading it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Why people love the Chimera Ant arc so much. I think the payoff is fantastic. Meruem is a wonderful villain. The ending of it is so good, dude. And even like the epilogue stuff after the Chimera Ant stuff is kind of wrapped up, with like Killua's sister is all like really good. Leorio finally gets good.
He's one of my favorite characters, and I don't know why.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, Hunter x Hunter's good. Other than that, I was trying to blitz and get it all done today. I read most of Alice in Borderland.
Oh my gosh, is that good as everybody says it is?
So at the time of this recording, the Netflix live action adaptation of it has just come out. I had never heard of it before, and I don't think there's even an official English translation of the manga. But people were responding really positively to it, so I decided to check it out. It sounded interesting, and I figured if I watch the show and like it, I would just end up reading it anyway, rather than waiting for the show to cover the whole thing. So I just decided to read it. I really like it. It's good. It's the death game genre, which I typically enjoy. I know I'm never going to get another Danganronpa, so I have to make do where I can. But it is a good one of those. And those typically, they capture a tone that I don't think anything else can really achieve. So yeah, it's cool. Check out the Netflix series. I guess people seem to like that, or check out the manga. Both are good. The Netflix series covers about a third of the manga, I think.
Did they finish it or they can continue? Do you know?
The manga's over.
Oh, okay.
I think he's writing like a sequel or something now. But the original is over. Yeah, it's cool.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, that's me. That's my anime minute.
My anime minute. I'm almost done with My Life as a Villainess, or whatever it is, about the girl who's trapped in the game that she knows is going to end bad for her, so she's trying everything to change it. Last 2 episodes, and I'm probably going to finish them tonight. And then I'm going to hop on my new anime, which I don't know what it is, but I need to figure it out. That's about it for my anime minute. I mean, Spy Family is still fantastic. I got 2 figurines for Christmas, a Mega Meme and a Jotaro figurine. I'm actually really happy about that. Other than that, that's all my anime minute.
But yeah, I don't have anything for anime minute.
Anthony's anime minute is he's gonna start reading Berserk, you guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna start reading Berserk.
If he hasn't started by the time this episode comes out.
Oh God.
I don't think it's happening.
If I haven't started by 2022 when this episode comes out, then no, I've just been watching when I have time. Honestly, all my time's been spent into work, Cyberpunk, and Schitt's Creek.
And how good is Schitt's Creek?
Schitt's Creek's really good.
Oh my God, it's so good. How great is Catherine O'Hara? She's the mom.
Honestly, my least favorite character.
She's great. The character's
Oh my
not
gosh, dude, you're crazy.
great. Matt, you got anything for Anime Minute?
Nah, not really. I've just been on the hunt for AMD processors here lately with the craziness of 2020 and scalpers being absolutely out of their goddamn minds.
I'm with you on that on the 3080. Still waiting to see if I can get one. Probably be another 2 months, hopefully.
All right. Then let's go into Flcl. Two tiny bits of housekeeping first. I did decide that I want to do voice actor for Commander Amuro. His Japanese is Koji Okura, who had no other roles that stood out to me. And his English is Dave Mallow, who does Goto in Hunter x Hunter and Akuma in Street Fighter. Just like all of Street Fighter.
That's good.
Pretty quick one. Other little bit is this being Anthony's first time seeing this show, and the nature of the conversations we had last week. As much as I would love to just sit here and like compare theses with Matt all day, Anthony, if you have like reads on characters or themes or like what something is supposed to mean or someone's arc or how things relate to each other, just basically anything, please jump in and give me that. I want to hear. I think there's so much shit in these 3 episodes.
I've got the main theme down, and that's really about it.
Well, I mean, even just like, see, that's okay. That's the thing, man. There's a point in this, I think it's the last episode, where they literally like say to Naoto, "What is Flcl?" And he's like, "I don't know. It doesn't fucking matter."
Bingo.
Because the whole point is, I think I said this last week as well, is that you're supposed to, in a way, apply your own meaning, right? Like there are things that are pretty much unarguable and there are definitely ubiquitous themes, but you're supposed to try and derive your own thoughts from the events that transpire. There's enough ambiguity where you can read things in multiple different ways. So yeah, man, I fucking love people just going wild with like interconnectivity of themes and symbolism and all that stuff, and just seeing what people come up with. It's so interesting. So if you've got anything,
guess a little bit, but I'm actually really excited to watch this circle jerk of themology between you two.
Oh boy.
God, this is gonna be a massive.
And me and Monk are just gonna be. We're gonna go into the other room and play like Magic or some shit. Just let you guys go to town.
Oh, I'm going to town.
Oh, speaking of going to town and like sex, those boys were about to like fulfill their like their faces.
I'm sorry.
When she was just knocking them out, they're like, oh.
Wait, what?
In the episode where she ends up in the barber shop.
No, she's just like, isn't this the one where they open up with like the baseballs just getting knocked out of the fucking park?
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were talking about the barbershop. Oh, okay.
Oh, no. Like literally at the beginning, and their faces, dude, they were all in their, what's that face called during sex? The owl face or whatever.
Ahegao, please. This is anime.
Oh my God.
The ooh face.
Yeah, I think The League had a really funny way to say it. But anyway, yeah, they would do like all, like when they were seeing her just knock them out, they were all just like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Haruko was just nailing home runs. We see the scoreboard is 44-0. The other team, I guess captained by the grandfather, is lamenting how they're terrible since Tsuku left, who is Naota's older brother. We get a quick montage of Naota up to bat because he never swings. So he just gets a bunch of strikes until Haruko nails him in the face with the ball.
It's like, fucking stop wasting my time. Just fucking nails him.
Also, it didn't even like the players also mention how good Taskun was.
Yeah. Because he ostensibly went overseas to play baseball.
Yeah.
Oscar, I'm just saying, Taskun being there would not have helped.
Perhaps not.
Oh, hell no. But still, that wasn't the point.
Yeah, they don't know that Haruko's like a fucking alien monster.
And just to kind of add on to Naoto just listening to all of them probably that whole time, just being like, I wish Taskud was here. We were so good with him. Like, just more comparative fucking, yeah.
I think they even say at one point, like, all we've got is his brother.
I hope he's good.
And he won't even swing.
Nope.
He won't even swing the bat.
Won't even swing.
We see Conti collecting balls, and the grandfather has a brilliant idea to recruit him to the team. Haruko tells Naota that he's not being honest with himself, and nothing can happen until he swings the bat.
Oh, he tells him that the bandage look is a nice look, too.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit different than what she normally does, because normally it's just a lot of berating him, and it starts to change a little bit more.
Naota comes home, and the dad is giving Haruko the weirdest massage in the world.
What, you've never gotten a neckbeard massage?
Ugh.
I'll be there in a minute, Orange.
I've been to a couple PAXs, so I have, but not intentionally. Naota is clearly uncomfortable with it, and then they fucking Lady and the Tramp and egg, which is, come on, man. That yolk is going to get everywhere.
I like how the logistics of this situation offends you more than what's actually going on.
Isn't he having like background flashbacks as well during this scene?
It's in the. I thought it was the gun, or no, that's later. Never mind.
No, I think there was a background, like a flashback, like a quick, like little, like
you're right. He flashes back. Yeah, go ahead.
Where it goes, "You're the one I saw first."
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm assuming that that's because he's watching her like literally fuck around with his dad, and then he keeps going back to like, but you said I was the one you saw first, kind of that. That mentality of like, you know, that almost like that ownership, which is kind of real prevalent right now, especially for certain like, I don't know, YouTube, Twitch streamers. Females complain about this shit all the time, right? Like the ownership of their fans, which I don't want to deep delve into that, but it's kind of interesting that they brought this up in what year is this again?
Did you just hold on? Did you watch Perfect Blue again?
Why? I'd have brought that shit up in my anime minute.
Yeah, because I think you're in a way correct. I don't think that that's necessarily the thing they're trying to invoke.
Yeah, truthfully, I was just following a thought process, and that's where I wound up.
Yeah, absolutely. Please, I encourage that 1,000%. But I think there is something to that through line that comes to a head in episode 5. But more than that, I think it's, if you actually think further back or to the full scene with Naota, with the I saw you first.
Yeah.
The real exchange between them was, you know, he's like, oh, go fuck with my dad, whatever. And she basically tells her that she chose him. Like this option has already been presented and she rejected the dad in favor of Naota. Now he's seeing the opposite.
Plus, the other thing is that, and this is kind of me going back to one of the things I said in the last episode, which was, you remember how I said Naota is like this character who strives for order or normalcy or logical, essentially?
Sure.
So you've got her essentially trying to bleed out emotion from him or bleed out the other side of the brain or the emotional side.
That's pretty true, yeah, because he's always well, I don't know if he always, but it's definitely like, I know at the very beginning and the very end for sure, like there's nothing ever happens here, everything's ordinary, you know.
And
I
meant to bring that monologue up.
He's trying very much to like, it seems like he is trying to be just a normal basic bitch adult kind of thing.
Yeah,
and then like this is all happening to him, and you're right, she's just like, no, you're gonna feel.
I think that's kind of the crux of a lot of characters and the main struggle in this series, more than the on the surface puberty stuff, is people's disconnect with their like true identities and their true emotions and the stuff they put forwards to fight against that, to mask that, to shield themselves from it. Because, you know, you look at Naota and he absolutely cares. He pretends he doesn't. And he hides behind this like a maturation, pretending he's above all of this, pretending he's too good for it. And the only one who to this point has made it past that stuff, this is including the side characters like the dad, is Nina Mori, who we'll definitely talk more about later.
I think you
But-
could go on a stretch and say Mamimi's also pulled this off because she basically did by herself in the first episode. For the most part, I would say by herself.
She kind of relapses in these episodes, though.
Yes, he relapsed in the last episode, dude.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying like that her attitude. I'm not saying anything about her character, but she's like one of the other people that can get Naoto to elicit this kind of uncharacteristic response.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I see what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought you were saying something else, but yeah, you're totally right. And yes, that is definitely something we will touch on big in episode 5, probably. Eyebrows guy shows up.
What's it like? I like his eyebrows.
Yeah, his eyebrows are real cool.
Of course you would.
Yeah. So what?
I don't understand.
You don't understand his eyebrows?
I 100% don't understand his eyebrows.
Did you listen to what I just said at all about masks and shit?
Wait,
False maturation?
who are you? So his eyebrows were supposed to be like a masking?
He thinks his eyebrows make him look more mature, manlier. Amuro, oh, dude, we're going to fucking talk about Amuro, but Amuro,
Hold
of
on to
Amuro-
that thought because that's in the later episodes. Let's keep going.
I'm just going to say, think of Amuro as a failed Nauta. And I'll move on and we'll come back to that.
Okay.
He warns Nauta about Haruko, which we don't have to go into that. Nauta has a brief meeting with Mamimi, which is a fairly typical for those two.
Oh, hold on. You missed one of the
Haruko-
best quotes,
Yeah, what's
I
up?
think. This was, I think, during the commander meeting. Didn't he say adults are stupid?
Nauta?
No, I'm pretty... Oh, maybe he did.
Amuro?
Oh, actually, I think... no, because I can't remember if I wrote... Because I put, you're right, adults are stupid. And I don't know if I'm agreeing or if he's agreeing. You know what I mean?
I think I do remember that line. I think it is a Nauta line. So Nauta comes home. Haruko meets him outside. There's some weird shit with heads.
Yeah. Is that just... What? What?
Yeah, what's up?
What do you mean, what's up? Just what?
Oh, the flashy scene where he's holding Naoto's head. She's holding Naoto's head.
She's holding Naoto's head, and then it becomes another head, and then she's just behind him, and she's like, "I'll be your baseball coach."
Oh,
Uh-huh.
at first it's
do you mean,
the
like, it's
father's
just
head,
fine?
and he's asking why don't you go hang out with him, and then the sentence gets repeated that says what is it, something to the effect of like yours is the only one that works.
Thought I wrote
don't know.
that. but
It's
I'll take
another
your word for it.
it's another one of those situations where you got like two conversations going on at the same fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell if some of these scenes are purely in service of just like the whirlwind of confusion that you're supposed to be feeling because it's from the perspective of Nauta and what is actually supposed to like have relevance. I honestly don't take anything from this fucking weird head thing.
Yeah, I know. I just
thought Naruto went to kill his dad. That's the way I looked at it. Like he was just imagining visions of killing his dad.
they might be laying the groundwork for us to think that for the next scene or whatever.
Well, the
Yeah.
other thing to me is just it's another, and this is just having after watched all of it and put it all together enough times, is more just to elicit more emotion out of him, to bring him more into essentially what you want to think of the middle of the spectrum, to where he's got both rational and irrational thoughts. It's meant to just throw him off balance.
Yes.
And if I'm supposed to be him, like in his perspective, then I agree. I was thrown off balance.
Yes. I mean, you always should assume you're looking at things from the protagonist's perspective as much as possible. But we do a little bit of, batting practice,
Quote unquote batting practice.
quote unquote batting practice. And then we got our fucking Evangelion scene with the the control room and the thing heading towards it, and the little screen even goes red.
Yep.
It's just straight up Evangelion.
I really wish the fucking like the music for Evo would have started playing right there too.
Boom, 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 boom. Amuro doesn't like spicy things, turns out.
Huh. Who else doesn't like spicy things?
Weird. Don't know.
You know what? I was listening to you guys talk about how he is basically a failed Naruto, and I was like, what? And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Naoto wakes up in the middle of the night, and Haruka is being weird with his dad.
Yeah, she's missing from the room, and then he goes looking for her and finds, like, they don't really, it's odd the way they show it. They don't necessarily, like, fully give in that there's, like, sex or anything going on, but you're not really sure if it's just, like, something weird, like the fucking weird-ass,
electric, or the massage.
The massage.
Yeah, the electric massage with the cord coming out of his ass.
Yeah. Which I guess we'll learn what that's all about it later, actually. But yeah, it's just weird stuff that Naota sees it, his head goes a little bit berserk.
Yeah, you see a large, like, beep go off, essentially.
Yeah. We then cut over to Naota's hanging out with Mamimi by the river again. Haruko comes and tries to bring him to the game. Mamimi wants to go because it's Kanti's first game and she wants to see him play.
She's about it.
She still labels him as Lord Conti.
Yeah, which is fair. Naota doesn't want to go, and Mamimi says that, oh, that's fine. Takun's not the type to swing the bat.
Shots fucking fired.
I know,
Everybody
right?
knows.
Naota goes home. He finds his dad on the floor. His pocket, it's weird. His watch wasn't working. He just wound it.
Well, it's actually one of those weird scenes, like, where you're getting, like...
Thank you, Anthony.
It's actually one of those really weird scenes, like, where you're getting, like, flash forwards, because his dad, like, stands up from being over in the corner. But, like, you see shots of, or, like, stills of him, like, laying on the ground with, like, either his head knocked off or blood pouring out of him. It's one of those weird scenes that's, like, he's sitting there trying to play with it. Is this what really is happening in reality, or is this what he wants to happen, or...
Yeah, it's especially weird because I get from our perspective and the way it plays out, it hasn't happened yet. Because he walks in, we get that vision, and then he sees his dad like through a curtain, and his dad comes out. Well, first Naota has like this weird fucking trip that he goes on through his brain, and his dad comes out and is just talking and being weird. And Naota hits the TV, and then we get a recap. Or not a recap, but they re-show that same scene with him on the floor and the watch broken and the blood or whatever.
Well, when you also hear him talking, it's not just weird. Like, you hear it comes across robotic.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I didn't pick up on that, but if that's what it is, totally. That makes sense. So we get to the baseball game. Haruko beans Kanti, because of course.
Well, I mean, you've got to immediately just get him out of the game. And you see her over there just whistling in the background, acting like, I did nothing wrong.
Yeah. And then we get the evacuation alarm from Mabase. There's a big old bomb coming.
That's when the Eva music hits, baby.
We cut over to Naota's interrogation by Amuro. But like, hey, why'd you hit your dad? Why'd you hit your dad? And he's like, I didn't do anything, repeatedly. His first little slip up is or not slip up, I guess, but he starts to yell about Haruko, and Amuro's like, oh, you call her by her first name, huh? Guess you two are pretty close. Which I think we've talked about that concept with you before, Anthony.
Closeness?
Well, like how
Names.
in Japanese culture,
yeah.
calling someone by their first name without any honorifics implies a certain relationship.
Yep.
Okay. And then Naota eventually snaps again, but stops himself short when he but is about to admit that he hit the TV because he was jealous of his dad messing with Haruko. And then I think this is the first time we actually learn about Atomsk.
Yes.
Really? Did you just fuck that up?
Atomsk.
Atomisk.
Atomisk. It's not it's spelled Atom, Atomsk.
This is why you watch the dub.
Atomisk.
We cut back. We find out, oh, dad was a robot.
He finds him in the cupboard, covered with cockroaches and dried out. He looks like fucking a mummy that's been stored.
I thought it was dead.
He technically was. In the dub, he says,
Yeah.
I died for a little bit.
But everyone knows you can revive dead people by putting them in the tub.
Yeah, haven't you played Galactic Space Rock thing? You just pour some water on them and you're fine.
That's how potions work. Get it straight, man.
This reminds me, have you guys ever had those? I don't know what they are. They're not toys, but where you put them in the water and they grow.
Oh, little dinosaurs.
You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah, stuff.
Chia
What the
pet,
fuck is
hell, dude?
What is wrong with
A
you,
chia
dude?
pet is not a little toy that you put in water and it gets big.
Oh, I thought you just put those fuckers in water and they get big.
Intercut with him putting his dad in the bath and like pouring water on him and stuff is Mamimi calling for the Lord of Terror. Because why not?
On Conti's back.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, that first scene I thought she was calling Conti now the Lord of Terror.
No, he's the Lord of Flames or whatever.
Yeah.
My apologies for not understanding that.
Well, you should because it was in the other episodes. Like, keep up.
That's why I was saying now calling him the
Oh,
Lord of Terror.
Yeah.
No, she's speaking about the fucking bomb that's coming down.
Yeah. And it's pretty implied also, right, that bomb is heading directly for what's-his-face's head, Naoto's face.
Yeah, it's implied because you've seen in a couple different shots where his head's been like beeping with red.
Oh, yeah, a lot of them, yeah. Even when it's like not implied, it's still beeping red.
He's the big fucking target. The thing is coming right for his fucking face.
Amuro gives us a brief explanation of the head stuff and how it's basically like an interdimensional portal for medical mechanica.
Which nicely just ties in with what I've been saying all along. You have to have the right balance of the left and right side of the brain in order to be able to open up a portal straight through the fucking middle.
Sure.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Go ahead and pat myself on the back.
Oh, I mean, I'm sorry, dude. You haven't watched the show several times before. My bad.
I for one, I would say, I think that's a kind of a reductionist version of it, but yeah. But I don't think that's what they were going for, especially since like left side, right side was always more about like logistical and artistic. Although I guess logistical and creative, that kind of shit.
Logic versus creativity, which you could go with is logic versus
Emotion.
yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I see the extrapolation. And I, to be fair, I think you're saying the exact same thing that I believe is true. But
I will ask this, though. So you guys explained why, like, specifically they need her, but, like, could you just kind of clarify what he mentions as how the teleportation works? Or is it not really illicitly explained here? Just kind of.
So
Honestly,
it's kind of glossed over. It's not given in full detail, but the essential version of it is that someone has to have just the right type of head where they can access essentially both of the logistical and the emotional side of the brains. So typically it only happens when somebody can go through both of them. So you can have this usually when you have one person, they'll say like Naoto, who's typically on the logistical, all of a sudden just have an explosion of emotion. And that will cause both sides of the brain to be active, which causes enough what they label later on as NO to be able to open up a portal and grab whatever.
Okay, so is there any, and it's by, what is the name? Medical
Mechanica.
Medical Mechanica. So I may have gotten this wrong. I was under the impression that they were the people that were in the iron.
Yes.
They are the people that are running that factory that looks like the iron. But technically, they as a group are never actually shown in person.
Okay, I was going to ask about that too. Okay, yeah. So then we're to assume, and then based on his explanation, is the iron medical people are sending items in a teleporting fashion, and then they're just no.
Okay, so that's kind of a so essentially, Naoto, as you've figured out by now, or should have figured out by now, has the powers of Adamisk.
I don't know if we know that here.
He can't necessarily use them on command or doesn't have control of them or even understand them himself. But essentially he is the conduit. Like he's the key that is the connection to Adamisk.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Even if that's sure. I
don't think we should understand that now on our first viewing, but yeah.
But anyway, either regardless, why specifically are the items coming out of his head that are coming out of his head?
So he got the access to it. Essentially, Conti came out, which was originally what you want to consider the container of Adamisk. That's how they captured him. Actually, let's just go ahead and proceed further. We'll explain it more when they talk about how they talk about that he was captured and that whole spiel.
No, you go ahead. Let's get all the science bullshit out of the way right now.
So again, this is all entirely horseshit, fucking science mumbo jumbo. Even though it's made to sound somewhat like, yeah, sure, but makes no sense in reality. So essentially, Conti was the container for Adamus. That's how they captured him and were imprisoning him and holding him. Because essentially what Medical Mechanica wants to do is just make the world entirely make sense, or remove personal thought, remove personality or personalism, essentially. Like individuality, that's what I'm looking for. That was the word I was looking for. Medical Mechanica is trying to remove individuality from everybody. They want the world and the universe just to work the way that they intend.
It was all to be smooth braids.
Exactly.
Which is explicitly what they say later.
And then essentially they captured Adamusk inside Conti, because Adamusk has the power to which they label as NO, which is the ability to basically reach in through space-time and grab whatever the fuck he wants and pull it through it.
Okay.
So essentially think about wherever he's at, he could just open up a black hole and reach in and grab whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, okay.
So they want to do away with him. They want to either kill him, remove him, capture him, store him away, something. They want to just do away with him because that does not fit their ideal of order.
Yeah, he's like the main antagonist in the fight that we just now kind of got introduced to.
You don't even actually necessarily know whether he's the antagonist or not, because...
Well, he sounds like a Wukong-esque character, right? Or the Monkey King. Sorry.
Because you don't necessarily know that he's doing any. You don't necessarily know that he's doing anything inherently evil. He just does things. I'm assuming.
Yeah, he may not physically attack them, but they consider him a threat, right?
Correct.
Think of Adamusk more abstractly. I think trying.
I'm just trying to make it relatable.
No. I don't think you need to, though. Like, I think that's kind of defeats the point.
But essentially, it isn't even so much like what he is or who he is as a person. It's just the concept of his power.
Exactly. And the concept of him as, like, yes. Yeah, exactly. The concept of Adamusk is more important than who he is in relation to anyone. The idea of Adamusk is more important than the being of Adamusk.
Yeah, I get that. I was just trying to, like, in my head phrase, like, why the fuck would they, like, I was led down like why would they even care if he's not attacking them? And then I thought, well, people just, jealousy via whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you could go any of those routes, and essentially they just...
Yeah, I'm good.
He doesn't fit their model, so they just want to go and pull a USSR and just take him out back and shoot him. So there's only one other group that hasn't it's essentially three like groups that are fighting that are introduced at this point that you should somewhat have an understanding of what's going on. So you have Medical Mechanica and what they're trying to do. You have Adamusk and you have Haruko chasing after Adamusk. You don't necessarily know why at this point.
And you have whatever the fuck Amuro
You have essentially what amounts to, I don't know what the name is that they gave him, but Amuro and his division, which is essentially those that just want Earth to be...
Yeah, Nerve.
To just be...
Yeah, fuck, I couldn't think of the name. God damn it.
They just want the Earth. They just want the Earth to be left alone.
My head was like, Eva, Sela,
I was too. All right, and then, well, my last science question, like, okay, so I get, they just nod, he can do this. Do they ever explain why specifically the items came out of his head? No.
Again, you just know that he is the catalyst. There's not really a reason as to why, but they just keep repeating over that he's the one that fit.
Yeah, okay, so essentially Adamusk, like, he was just like, fuck it, he needs a guitar. And then guitar comes out of his head.
Essentially, in a lot of cases, it's whatever is needed at the current moment is usually what comes out.
That's kind of fair too.
To me, I honestly think that's like a logic that probably isn't there. I think that sort of stuff, if you can extrapolate symbolism to like what actually comes out, I think it exists not in tandem with whatever lore Fooly Cooley has, but just because they want it to, and they can get away with it because the lore isn't extrapolated that much.
I gotcha. I mean, yeah, I just wondered if I guess I could have phrased that more like did they ever explain why specifically the items that came out, not specific, not why, you know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah.
So they also throw in the quote again, "You're the first one I saw after all that talk."
They do. Okay. I think I might have missed that.
And so that's when I kind of started. I actually thought about that quote for a while. That "You're the first one I saw," and I don't know if they meant this, but I kind of took it away as she's the first. Not only like does his head work, but she's also. Or no, I think he's the first one that she saw that she knew the head would work.
He's also
Sure.
like essentially, if you really want to think about it, at this point, the first one that she's somewhat connected with or shown to connect with, even though it's kind of implied more that it's manipulation than that she connected anything with him.
Implied is
Yeah.
maybe generous on her part. I think it's giving a more generous characterization to Haruko, but we'll get there.
Well,
But I was also kind of thinking about that. Or you can go and finish that, because we'll move on.
oh, you're good. I was just saying, like, it is being kind of generous, but still, it's if you're left to look at it from the eyes of Naoto, that's what you're perceived to see.
Yeah, totally. At the end of the meeting with Amuro, at the end of all that stuff, he also says there's very few who will swing the bat. There's a bomb coming, and he asks for him to ask Haruko to hit one more out of the park.
Hit one more for the home team.
Tell him it's a home team. This request comes from a home team fan.
Hometown fan, yeah.
Hometown fan, yeah. Haruka busts into Naota's house when he's back home. During this scene, it is kind of intercut with the Amuro stuff a little bit, but Haruka's plan is alluded to. It doesn't really tell us what it is, but we know she's got greater machinations happening.
Yep, she's sitting on the bed when she explains it to him.
Yeah. Then fucking Crazy Sunshine plays and Crazy Sunshine rules. Haruko brings Naota on top of a tower.
It's not on top of any tower. It's on top of the iron, on top of the factory, the medical mechanica factory.
Oh, okay.
And you actually see Mamimi with Conti still over when you can see the little like blinking red light on top of the medical mechanica factory. That's how you know that they're up there.
Again, man. Writing so furiously. Like trying my best not to have to pause.
That's why I say you have to watch it like 3 times in order to catch everything that's fucking going on.
Haruko starts rooting around inside of Naota's head after putting a shower cap on him. And at the end of it, she pulls out, you don't have to remind me, a red guitar.
Wow.
You got that wrong.
She doesn't pull out.
No, it is a
It
red
pulls
guitar.
out red when it initially comes out because that's showing like the atomist power that's coming through him. But it turns
I know.
into a white flying bee.
Yeah, but it still comes out as a red guitar.
No, it comes out, and once it finishes like its transformation movements, it's white.
Yeah, but it comes out as red. Fuck you. And Amuro is just like, but he's just a kid. What? And then we see the missile heading toward them. It unfurls into the shape of a hand and throws
Because
a ball.
of course it's a baseball.
It's
Yeah,
a
no
baseball
shit.
episode, so
I know. I fucking love this. This thing is gaining so much from momentum. Like it's coming out of this. And then the guy's like, and the fucking meteor is just like, I'm going to transform into a hand and throw the ball at you.
Yep.
and then you see
You're breaking all the like
Then you-
momentum.
then you see
I think.
then you see the what's his fucking name again? The bushy brows. Yeah.
Amuro?
You see him come out. It's a slider. It's like, really? How the fuck can you tell that at
was pretty
all?
funny.
Yeah.
He was like, I kind of think like it's going down, or it's a slider, it's going down, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the Haru's line when she was like driving away. She was like, I don't know, he might not even swing. All of Mabase could. Is it Mabase?
Mabase.
Yeah.
Mabase, yeah. She was like, all of Mabase could be destroyed. I don't know.
Well, and
I thought that was really fucking funny.
so for all you all watching, see you later.
Oh, did she fourth wall break too?
Yeah, she fourth wall breaks
Nice.
in the dub where she just starts talking to the audience and says sayonara, And then she just looks
I
up.
do remember the sayonara, yeah.
You just see her panic and look up.
Naota calls out to his brother again, which off in the distance activates Conti.
No.
But he doesn't come absorb. No, it does show Conti's like face activate. He doesn't come absorb him this time.
Oh
though.
yeah, and it actually puts
It puts the mark on Naota's forehead.
correct on both the Conti's face and his forehead.
Yeah. And Naota swings.
Good for you, Naota.
The ball stops on his guitar, but is still suspended.
Going.
They're struggling against each other. They're like, oh, it's going to explode. As it starts to peel open, and then Haruko comes back and hits it with him.
Yeah, and she just fucking clears it. Like it. They show a line. The animation is great. They show a line, and it just shows it flying. So to me, it shows that she had the ability to do it all along. That wasn't the point of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's very established that she could have probably fucking destroyed this thing.
The big thing for me is I feel like they used this episode almost like for her for like a confirmation that confirming that Naota is the conduit.
Yeah, totally. I could see that. Yep, I have nothing to add to that. What do you got? Okay, so we cut to a shot of Mamimi. What do you guys think is the expression on her face here?
It's kind of like disappointment, in my opinion. I'll explain it a little bit more, but let's hear it from the other people.
I don't remember it.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't remember it.
Okay, I use the word despondent, which I guess is probably a little more severe, but close. So I think we take the same reading in that she wasn't happy to see this turn of events.
Wow. And low spirits from loss of hope or courage.
Not so much the courage, but
why do you think that? And then I'll tell you why I think that.
Oh, why do I think that?
Why do you think she looked like that?
Oh boy. It all shit. I'm trying not to get too deep into characters because at some point I do just want to fucking nail on these characters.
Well, but, this one can pretty much be just go ahead and gone through right here because this is essentially the breaking point.
Yeah, sure. Do we just want to drill on Mamimi right now?
Let's go, baby.
Okay, let's talk about Mamimi. So
you don't want to talk about her in the last episode?
I think the last episode we could just do like a full thing on her, but we could talk about her great, like most of her right now, and then wrap her up. I think.
Okay.
So the reason I think she has that look now is because she is still clinging to Naota as her replacement for Tasuku. And I think even at this point, which I could be wrong, the kitten isn't around. Like she's been abandoned by another Takun. And she will shortly find another Takun. And she just has this codependency. And him swinging the bat, metaphorically, even though it's literal at this point, is him taking his own steps into like independence and maturity, where from her perspective, she feels like he won't need her anymore. He won't cling to her anymore. He'll feel like he has outgrown her, just like everyone else she has connected with.
I think you're hitting it right on the head, but I think I would almost go a step further and kind of paint Mamimi in a little bit darker light. I would go as far as to say she has fully lost control of the last thing she controlled in her life.
Sure. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
So essentially, she has no control over anything else. Her house life was already shit, which has been pre-established. Her school life is shit because she's bullied. She has shit luck when she's out in the world, which gets shown again in a couple episodes. She just loses that last grip of control on reality.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I never thought about it as a control thing, but I 100% see that. Great. Wow, this is really talking about things works so much almost detrimentally smoother when we just agree. Any other thoughts on Mamimi, guys? Her whole character as a whole. Look, let's look at this as like, if you have any big thoughts on Mamimi, let's get them out now. And we basically won't go in depth on her character until the very, very end, where we'll kind of bookend her, close her off. So if you got anything you want to say about Mamimi, any questions, any thoughts, how she ties into other people, we could even introduce those kinds of things now.
Mamimi's story arc is kind of sad.
Sure. I mean, I think all their story arcs are kind of sad, but
I would say sad, but she's also at fault for a lot of her own problems.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of true of everyone as well.
Yeah.
So we'll wrap back on Mamimi.
That's pretty much the end of that episode. Is there any exposition?
Oh, no, hold on. That's not the very end. So we have that look with Mamimi. She says that he swung the bat. Haruko is driving the sleeping Naota home. And she has what appears to be almost a genuine, like, almost proud look on her face before she...
Maniacal laughing.
Yeah, before she reverts back into Haruko. And then Amuro's eyebrows fall off.
Yep. That's the best part of the show.
And the subordinate's just staring on in horror.
Yep. It's so good.
That is episode 4. Let's go for episode 5. This was one of my favorite episodes of television when I was a child. Brittle Bullet. Fucking weird, manic all the way through this goddamn episode, dude.
Well, isn't this the one that's just chock full of fucking references?
Yes.
All of them is, though.
Yeah. This episode goes a mile a goddamn minute.
Yep.
We open with Naota and Haruko in the grass with Uzis. Of course, nothing out of the ordinary here. Haruko tells him to go and die for their love and kicks him out. And then we cut to Naota watching a shoot-'em-up movie with his grandpa.
Yeah, and then in the movie, they're sitting there talking about, wait, where are all these birds coming from? And then they fucking...
Oh, fuck. So it's a John Woo reference.
The dad gets knocked into the room, into the TV, and then birds appear out of the television.
The dad is dressed as Lupin. As he is rejected by Spring Punch.
Spring Punch
from Haruko.
From a particular area.
Mm-hmm. He goes on a whole rant about Lupin, like, oh, you don't like the red one, you prefer the green one, blah, 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 blah. And then he makes a reference of Castle of Cagliostro. Fucking awesome movie.
It's so good.
What is happening to this podcast? You guys are talking and it's in plain English, but I have no fucking clue what you're saying.
Dude, the dad is literally speaking in anime references.
Yes,
Okay.
that's all he's doing. There's nothing like genuinely important about anything he's fucking saying. He just keeps...
Because this is the Airsoft episode, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it shifts over to where they're in the house, and then you're seeing what launched or what caused the airsoft match.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, Anthony, we did talk about Lupin the Third and the
Yeah,
coats.
a little bit, but you're just going in right now, and like it's
That's
kind of
what the
like
dad
it's kind of
does,
like when you
dude.
listen to like a conversation in like Spanish, and like I heard Lupin the Third, and I was like, I know that word, like I know what the fucking word like nosotros means. I know what that word means, but I don't know what anything else the fuck you said.
So we get all that. Everyone watch Castle of Cagliostro.
Really good.
Naota then busts into his room. Haruko is dancing around in the least conservative nightgown ever made.
That's not a nightgown. That's just a towel.
Oh, is it just a towel? I thought it like had straps.
It's just a towel. She's sitting there dancing around with the cat while talking.
She's arguing. I put she was arguing with Miyu. Because she's like, my mission hasn't failed yet. Come on.
It's not about likey or dislikey.
Naota tells her to put clothes on, so she gets into full rocker getup with the pompadour.
Oh, she gets in a Elvis Presley outfit.
Yeah, I caught that reference, boys.
Which this is a big part where the dub is going to vary a little bit on what's said.
I'm sure. Like I figured because I this is another one that's like, oh, she just dropped 18 references, and I probably got about 2 of them. But first, she teaches him to learn guitar in 1 millisecond. Which
watch Haruko's master the guitar in 30 millisecond class. Sign up now.
Which, hey, I think is secretly an important line, even though it's a joke. Because Haruko's like the fakest character in the entire series. And she's basically just now telling him, like, hey, man, fucking fake it till you make it. You want to be something, pretend you are that thing. Act like a rock star, you are a rock star.
I mean, she's kind of not wrong, I guess, in that aspect of things.
And just the immediate response of, does anybody, where Naoto breaks fourth wall, asks the audience, do you find this difficult to understand? And immediately just starts getting shot by one of the airsoft submachine guns.
And yes, Naoto, it is very hard to understand what's going on.
It's so hard to understand what's going on.
Before she makes like a million fucking references, she says, you'll look more mature if you play the guitar.
Yeah.
And then she makes a bunch of references.
In the dub one, it says, you could learn, you learned master the guitar. It's like you can learn to master it. You grab a guitar. Chicks dig it, dude. Pyong.
Pion.
Yeah, and then she keeps saying pion.
Yeah. She also, I did hear the references, and even in the sub, there was references to Paul McCartney and Jimi Hendrix.
So in the, I've got the episode open. I want to say what the dub versions was. What was it in the English one or in the Japanese one?
It was a lot of people. I don't think I recognized. There was one Watanabe Baby, which might have been Watanabe, which I don't know if that's a reference to like Cowboy Bebop Watanabe or there's like a famous musician Watanabe. But outside of that, I didn't know any. Just like awesome.
So let me go with the ones that come out through the dub, like Filter or Slash, like Red Hot Chili Peppers, or Rage Against the Machine or Richard Cheese.
Richard Cheese?
Yeah, and
they
then
reference Richard Cheese?
And then Naoto immediately just goes in the middle of the night, goes, one of those doesn't sound like it fits, and gets shot again.
Yep, that's fucking Richard Cheese.
That still is in the sub.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Richard Cheese, like, obviously it's for Dick Cheese. He's a he has like a band, I guess. I think he calls his band "And Lounge Against the Machine." It's satirical. It's he does like Sinatra based versions of like songs that should not be covered by Frank Sinatra.
Nice.
So like
that's pretty good.
I think the one that I got was "Down with the Sickness." So he'd be like, "You fuckers, get up! Come on, get down with the sickness!" Shit like that. And I think he's a Vegas kind of guy.
That makes this all the funnier. One of those doesn't seem like it fits.
Yeah, that's really fun. That's the only reason I know is because I know he did "Down with the Sickness," and I'm pretty sure all of his like it's all satirical. Like, yeah, I'm just looking at him now. "Down with the Sickness" was on an album he dropped called Tuxicity, and he's wearing a tux and stuff. It's
So he's Weird Al if Weird Al only did Frank Sinatra.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And move on we do to immediately from that to...
So she starts spinning the guitar and takes off like a fucking helicopter.
That was kind of funny, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and then we can proceed on what happens next.
Yeah, she is on top of him in bed, back to her basically nakedness.
With just the towel with her ass completely hanging.
Uh-huh.
One of those bits of fan service in this show that are kind of forced.
I still don't know. I still never really saw it as that and still kind of didn't.
I have to go with Owens on that. I think Haruko like is this kind of character. I don't think it's like fan service.
Well, I think it's fan service in the fact that you get to see her ass, but I think it comes so natural to kind of her character because she doesn't give a fuck if she's naked.
Oh, I mean it fits.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's like forced in any manner, but it definitely is fan service in my opinion.
Well, yeah, and we talk about this a lot, like in the other not Evangelion specifically, but in the other, there's obviously fan service in almost every single anime, and we always talk about it and stuff, and it's a really big point of contention sometimes. But no, it happens in like everything, even a fucking god damn it. Yuri on Ice had
Devil's Part-Timer? Yuri on Ice.
Yuri on Ice, everything we've watched had like fan service.
Victor.
Yeah, Victor.
Tell me about that fan service.
Oh my god.
And I think the interesting part about this one, I want to specifically bring this anime up, is that it was like so natural for her character to really not care about her being exposed in the way she is, to where it would make it like kind of weird, because a lot of the other times it's like the girl's in an exposed position, and then she's like, "Oh no, you saw me in that way." You know what I mean? And it feels kind of weird.
It's there to titillate the audience.
Yeah, and hers was just like, it's fucking happening. You get a little piece of it, and then we're gonna go back to the scene. That I feel like that's how fan service should be.
Well, I mean, at that point, I don't like calling it fan service because I feel like I don't think they put it there because they wanted to be like, let's give the fans a little bit of Haruko. I think they put it there because it felt like what we should be seeing. Like it felt natural because she is dressed this way realistically, and she's trying to.
They can do so much with their outfits because like she just changes outfits on the fly. I do think that it's a little of both. It is in character, but it also is fan service. I think it's both. It's muddying that line.
Well, the point is she is like hardcore seducing Naota here.
Oh, hell yeah.
And she's not going to do that in her fucking Kuwabara Elvis getup.
Well, hold on.
Well, okay, listen.
Just
maybe
don't
him,
look at my search history is all I'm saying.
Listen, I've also Googled Kuwabara Elvis. It's fine.
When she's on top of him, does she say use your guitar again?
Yep. She says use your guitar again.
And then says it, and then says this like, it says Takin in like this really seductive voice towards him. Just trying to like get him to do something. He's just like not interested.
She also tells him to act like an adult.
Wonder what that means in this situation.
And then his head cocks a couple of times.
And they kiss.
And they kiss because his head gets forced up into her.
And then in the background,
the dad barges in.
No, not barges in. He's there for that whole shot.
Oh, yeah. He's just watching the whole thing.
I wrote like, fuck you, dad on the side. And then I scratched out dad and wrote his name because I feel like it's offensive to consider him part of dads.
I forget what his name was.
K-O-M or K-A-M-O-N, I think.
K-A-M-O-N. Come on?
I think so.
I honestly never remember his name because he's not, in my opinion, an important character. He's just kind of an extra comic relief in the background.
Yeah, I mean, he does serve a minor purpose, I think. But yeah, I totally agree.
I mean, I think he's just there to essentially contrast Naota, but that's his main purpose as a character.
Totally. But yeah, he enters. He's like, blah, 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 all this other bullshit no one cares about. He jumps out of his looping clothes to try and get in there, gets spring punched again.
Boxing glove vagina trap. That's just
that. First of all, I am currently trademarking that band name.
That's what I have written down. That's what just happened to him.
We go back to the duel now that it has been established. Haruko is fucking around with Naota in the grass, wrapping around him like a snake.
Also, so I forgot to mention this earlier because we went straight into it, the scene with the guitar lesson, but my man was holding Akimbo Mac 10s. Like, holy shit.
Holding Akimbo juice boxes, hell yeah.
Just think about that real quick. Like, when I didn't know it was airsoft at the beginning, so when we first got into this, he was just fucking literally two-handing like fucking automatic submachine guns. Like, what the fuck is going on?
You realize how hard it is to get fucking weapons in Japan?
It is quite hard.
Sure.
Right. So they're doing the shit in the grass, and then the Conti and the dad start shooting them. The dad is a Nazi for some reason.
Yeah, he had an SS just strapped on his fucking.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's just blow right past that.
That Nazi reference.
Don't ask me why that's there because I got no fucking clue. Other than to just make him look like a dick.
No, I don't know. I'm sure I bet it was a reference to something, but I have no fucking clue.
So they start shooting at
Haruko and Naota.
Yeah, and she starts using him as a shield.
Mm-hmm. And in the middle of the chaos, Lieutenant Kitsurubami emerges from a vehicle on the highway with a goddamn cannon.
Side note, I'm gonna have to give you a golf clap on pronouncing the name right.
I'm usually like fucking so perfect with names.
He's pretty good at them.
Haruko is just weird to me because I know the name Haruka and I'm balancing it with Naota, which I'm also trying to reconcile with the name Naoto. So that those two are just clashing hard in my head.
I mean, yeah.
Amuro is on the phone in the thing. He has his pinky stuck out because that's what sophisticated people do.
Absolutely.
And then we watched an episode of South Park real quick.
Okay, that was okay, I gotta look this up. I know you guys know already.
So dude, he's sitting there talking to her on the phone while also talking to the hairdresser. I wanna kind of haircut so that way I can meeting a girl later. Something that says I'm all grown up, but something that says I'm also still fun to be around.
Okay, so South Park was 1997. Flcl was 2003.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was wondering, I was like, dude, that's amazing. I think I remember this specifically because I almost did a spit take because they just transferred over to fucking South Park Rules on animation, and I'd lost it. Which, to be fair, I'm not in oh my god, I watched however many seasons of South Park, but I appreciate the what I've watched of South Park.
Yeah, and then that whole scene, like Matt said, is about him. He wants an adult haircut. He wants to seem professional, mature, but he's still here to have fun.
So he's asking for a mullet.
No, that says I'm here to smoke weed, and if you're underage, you can have a beer. Nauta, meanwhile, in the gunfight, falls into a bunch of traps.
He starts to fall into a fucking what is it? One of those Vietnamese pitfall traps.
Yeah, he falls into a spike trap, gets pulled up by a rabbit trap, and then gets crushed by 4 gate traps.
All of them that magically are very barely missing him or barely keeping from killing him.
Mm-hmm.
Because
and Haruko is not helping.
No, she's just sitting over there fucking relaxing.
Meanwhile, Kitsurubame is taking a bunch of shots at Kanti, and this is one I'm curious about how it goes to the dub, because in the sub, she's just mumbling about the words fish and the word blue.
Yeah, so in the dub, it just says, because they just got done having a discussion the last time it looked at her, where it was confirming that Kanti was blue and not red. So that's what she was talking to Armoro about. So she's taking shots and she goes, blue, blue, he's still blue, blue, cobalt blue.
Oh.
Does it then descend into a pun or whatever?
No, it's entirely just them saying essentially that he's not turning red. He's not the red version that they're looking for, but they're trying to just do away with him because that group has an agreement that was said in the previous screen while he had the towel over his face to do away with Kanti or get rid of him.
Yeah, I was just curious because, like I said, it eventually does devolve into a pun about fish.
Yes, there is a joke
to the point where Mamimi even scolds her grammar a little.
That pun turns into she says "die, cyborg," and Haruko slaps one of the bullets with her base, and it goes back and hits Kitsurubame. But while it's flying, you see Mamimi sitting there going, "It's not a cyborg, he's a robot," but it's a common misconception and then the car just blows up.
Okay, I kind of figured that was the case because for whatever reason, one of the lines I remember from the dub is pretty shortly when the dad is floating by in the river, he goes, "Robots are different from cyborgs."
Yeah, that happens 3 times in this episode where they just talk about the difference between cyborgs and robots.
I don't know why, but that is burned into my brain. That and the we're having your favorite now I can't remember it.
Little Prince mild curry.
No, the thing, it's in the next episode about the rice, I think.
I remember saying rice, but I did not write it down.
But as soon as I saw that line translated, I could hear it perfectly in my head dubbed.
I'm actually going to have to remember what the hell you're talking about there.
I'll call it out when we get to it if I didn't write it down. I think I remember where it is.
Okay.
But yeah, so that happens. Like you said, Haruko knocks one back and knocks Kitsurubame into the river. Naota, meanwhile, gets hit by his friend's truck. And we learn...
Yeah, all 3 of the friends, what the fuck is the girl's name?
Nina Mori. Nina Mori
and the 2 guy friends, which are... I don't really think their names are too really important.
Let's call them Toji and Kensuke.
Oh my god.
I am not going to do that, but okay.
That's an Evangelion thing. Yeah, so we learned that they work part-time for one of their dad's liquor stores as delivery people, but it's fine. They stayed to the back roads. Let's let 12-year-olds drive a liquor delivery truck.
That's interesting. They didn't say that it was liquor in the English dub.
Totally believe that.
They totally left that shit out. They just said that nobody's going to catch them. They just drive along the side of the bank.
Yeah, no, it is a liquor store. Like, I think even the side says, like, something liquors.
That's interesting. I never picked up on that.
Yeah, back when Fully Cooley came out, dubs were really shy about, like, adult stuff with kids around them.
They had to be kind of really careful with this show.
Yeah. And Nina Mori, she's like, oh, hey, what are those? That's cool. She thinks Naota's guns are cool. Naota gets real flustered. His friends start talking about the rumors about him, how he's the pilot of the robot fights.
Did anybody else feel really uncomfortable how she was fucking with that popsicle in the back?
I didn't feel uncomfortable. I'm like, oh, that's what you're doing, huh?
I'm like, the reason I felt uncomfortable is like, again, I remembered these are 6th graders. Why the fuck is this girl in the back with a fucking popsicle doing this in front of 3 guys?
Because that's how you eat it. Sometimes you just eat a popsicle that way, man.
So I was going to say, I think she was trying to impress, what's his face?
Naota?
Or at least not impress, that's the wrong word. Yeah, trying to bring out an emotion.
Really?
Like,
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, she was doing behind his head, right?
She's kind of like doing it during the whole scene.
Well, she's in the back, right? So the first 2 guys in the front can't see her. So only Naoto can see her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that does bring a good point.
So my kind of assumption on that one was like, I don't know. So her is interesting. So I have to skip ahead to guide you guys along my thought process here.
Hold on. If this is going to go to like the end of the Nina Mori thing, then maybe we stash this and come back.
No, I'm
Is this going into episode 6?
No, kind of, but not really. So I just want to mention that. So everyone knows that line that she says, right, about the crying and whatever. Mm-hmm. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if we just kind of have the context of that, we don't know when that happened specifically, right?
Correct.
So if she's feeling more grown up because she's accepted herself or whatever, then and he's doing all this stuff that feels he's more grown up. I kind of thought like, okay, maybe he's a possible suitor for me, so I'm gonna like try to impose on him. Hey, look at this.
Well, still, she's already been trying to do that based on the 3rd episode with the whole forcing him to be puss.
Yeah, and that's just another like way of like doing it.
Okay.
Sure.
Because they're trying to be more grown up, you know what I mean? Less kid like, more like this is what grown ups do, right? So watch.
Okay, see, I think 1,000% the opposite. Fuck. Okay, we can do it now because you had to call the exact scene I wanted to talk about Nina Mori.
Well, no, I don't. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, I mean we can just keep it in mind for now, I guess.
Yeah, and you can bring it up and be like, remember that? Da da da. No, yeah,
sure. But yeah, I hey, if that's your reading, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I very very much disagree.
Okay, and then you can change my mind later.
The popsicle thing is weird because I really don't think it serves much of a purpose other than being just like another Halo. I think this show sometimes has too much, where a lot of some of the stuff like doesn't actually have a purpose in the face of like all the deeper meanings that I think a lot of it really has. Like that popsicle thing is very, very clearly evoking a certain thing. But I just don't think it does anything. Like we see what you're doing. I don't know how to say it.
I think Anthony's kind of right with it. I think it is kind of playing more towards her character, but I do agree that it doesn't have any bearing on the greater story.
Okay, so here's my argument against that. So I've been waiting to bring this up. So what is her name?
Nina Mori?
Nina Mori. Oh, Mamimi.
Mamimi. They also call her Samejima. Sameji. That's her, right? Same person.
That's her family name.
Her surname, yeah.
Her surname is Samejima, but
Yeah.
but people shortened to Sameji.
So there's a scene after all the blue, whatever, all that stuff, where she mentions that he's growing up, right? Or there's implication that she thinks that.
Yeah, that plays on later in this episode. So we'll
Is that later on?
Yeah, this episode. So you'll get there.
Okay, because everything that I'll bring the scene back up again to reinforce.
Yeah,
my points later.
that's why I'm kind of trying to like barrel into a way to
Yeah, you're
really
kinda
do it,
right.
because I think all this works like so much better in big picture.
Yeah, because I just think the reason, because obviously I feel like this whole episode, like I can say this whole episode is all about everyone seeing him growing up.
It's about them
Or there's a
seeing
lot of
him
theme behind it,
differently.
right?
I don't know if it's necessarily grown up, but it's differently, definitely.
Yeah, and I think that is a great way to think about this series. I don't know about grown up, but different.
Gotcha. All right, but we can continue.
So we get back to they're talking about the rumors. Naota smiles and get his head cocks again. Haruko shows up and, they banter a little more. Ninamori finishes her popsicle, and I guess that means she won something. I don't fully understand that.
So sometimes on like some of the cheaper popsicles, and they happen over there as well.
Yeah, you can win prizes.
There'll be prizes that like they'll be on the popsicle stick. So back in the day, like they'd have like codes on them or something that we go on the interwebs and type them in and get shit.
Do you not know about this?
I never won a prize for my popsicles.
I think this was more like straight up like you won, you mail your popsicle in, so they have your DNA now.
What the fuck? Bro, I'll mail my DNA in if I win on a popsicle stick. Hell yeah, they already have it anyway, I'm sure. But as a prize, one of the friends gives her a water crystal. She looks at it and she says it's pretty. They drive away and they're still gossiping about Naota, and Ninamori is absolutely captivated by her water pistol.
Oh, and the other thing you'll start to notice is they keep calling Mamimi Naota's wife.
Yes. The friends call her his wife. Naota, or we go back to Naota and Mamimi, and Naota gets a drink. It's a pulpy drink. And Mimi says like, oh, you like those now, huh? Weird. Haruko likes the pulpy drinks.
Since when do you like drinking those?
They have a little bit of a talk, and at some point she drops line, oh, New Takun is amazing. And his head cocks again. We get a shot of Kitsurubami in the river. Kanti shows up.
She's talking
And
to
they start
Armoro
blasting.
still, and then she panics, and it pans back over to Armoro, and you can hear her just like mumbling some shit in the fucking background.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear him underneath the tower, Kitsurubami.
Yeah, meanwhile, Amuro is getting fucking water tortured by Haruko.
We can talk about what hair color you want. Do you want auburn? Do you want chestnut? Or would you like kuri?
I do have a quick question. I had to step out for a second. So,
Yeah.
Samiji, you guys already talked about Mamimi. You guys talked about her already.
We are in the middle of talk. Well, yes, sort of. Yeah. What's up?
So I heard fully coolly, and I feel like that's about to go into another.
Yeah. What do you have about Mamimi?
They keep flipping scenes right now, like back and forth between the two of them.
So I just, so while we're kind of here on talking about her, do you guys think that this is the scene where she's like, is this where your hope comes from?
No.
Okay, because she's realizing, right, that he's growing up.
This is where she's basically already made the realization, and where she's just like, I don't like change. I don't like the changes I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm losing
This is her spiral.
I'm losing my grip on control.
Okay. Yeah, that's really all I had about Mamimi. Is like, this is where I realized her spiral.
So she asks Amuro whether he wants it fully kuriko, and he breaks out, and he has pistols drawn in both hands, and all of his security shows up and is standing behind him, all pointing guns at her.
No. So he breaks out. They point guns at each other. Haruko mocks his appearance a bunch. Mamimi shoots Naota. We cut back to Mamimi and Naota, and it's clear that she had shot him in the head with the airsoft gun. And this is where she starts to like talk about him growing up. And he pulls his hoodie closed and goes full Kenny from South Park.
Yep.
And Naota starts to think that Mamimi is jealous, and his head cocks again.
Yeah.
Then the gunfights happen, and then I don't know why this shot is burned into my brain, but I fucking love this shot where it's just Amuro is the only time he's ever cool. It's just a still shot of him, and then he like flicks his wrists, and all the guards file in from the sides. I could not let us get to that without talking about that shot. It's so
Yeah.
goddamn good.
I think one of the things that started was where she was making fun of him for being like or he was just like, I'm a man, and she's like, you're a child, and he says like, I'm not a child anymore. I can buy my own insurance now.
I can buy my own insurance
So
and
good.
everything.
Yeah,
It's like, really, that's what you base your being an adult by, is the fact that you're buying insurance.
dude, kind of same though. Like honestly, like that was a running joke and among some like high school friends is like we were talking about this one person's like girlfriend or whatever or boyfriend, yeah, this one girl's boyfriend, and we were like, well, what does he have? You know, why are they dating and stuff? And my friend brought up, well, he's probably got a 401k, and we all kind of thought about it. And we're like, fuck, we're about that right there, right now, right? This is the next stage in life. This is where we become adults.
See, that's why I think Amuro is so much more interesting watching it now, because he is like weirdly, he still fucking sucks, and he's still like ultimately not. Again, he's a failed Nauta, really, but he's almost relatable in a way where he's like, I'm an adult, I have insurance.
Dude, yeah.
And he has awesome eyebrows.
But still, that's where the relate, like, that's where his character doesn't make sense, because you see so many scenes later on where he's just like entirely riding on his emotions, and it's just like, you're not acting like an adult. You're just grasping at things and saying you're an adult.
Yeah, exactly. And Amuro so desperately wants to be that adult, but maybe like many other characters in the show, he has a misconception of what that is. Okay, so the reinforcements come in. They have a bit of Atomisk talk. He name drops Atomisk, and Haruko gets pissed and has like a fucking desperado guitar gun fight scene.
Which, by the way,
Makes me want to watch Desperado.
By the way, I really wish I had one of those guitars. It's a fucking bass. It's a chainsaw. It's a shotgun.
And I'll become a cool alien. Then you can have whatever you want. We cut back to Naoto leading Mamimi somewhere. We cut over to Kanti offering Kitsurubame a hand in the river.
Fan service.
Naoto brings Mamimi to a cafe and tries to kiss her, and Mamimi pulls away.
That was another one of the... No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was another one of the cocking back moments where he goes try to get the kiss, but she pulls...
Well, it's when she pulls away that his head cocks.
Well, I think that's when it fires. It has another cocking moment when he goes to try to go in for the kiss.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
So, like, the cock essentially triggers him to act cocky.
Yeah. You're right. But before he tries to kiss, sorry, that was my mistake. She starts to talk about him liking Haruko, and they have that brief conversation of, she's like, basically, it's, you totally like her. And he's like, no, I don't. And they do that for a little bit. And then he tries to kiss her. And let me turn my page. She pulls away from the kiss, and he gets pissed and is like, wait, don't you like me too? And Mamimi has a face that is very clear, like, oh boy.
What have I done?
And that's when he fires. His head goes off.
So a question right before we get into him firing and stuff.
Yes.
So you say it's like kind of a what have I done face?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it kind of is like a what have I done face, or what kind of monster have I created?
I think okay, so I like half agree with the sentiment. I think for me it's more of a face of her realizing that, no, I don't actually feel that way about you.
Okay, so that's really did she realize like at that moment that she doesn't like really like him? Or
I think she always knew and like was always just toying with him, and now that he's taking the initiative, it's different.
Yes.
okay, that leads into my other like point on this question. Does she also realize like it's no longer fun for her to like
Just
lead
toy
him
with
on,
them.
kind of? Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think, to be fair, I don't think she was ever like, leading him along just to manipulate him. It was always like a codependency thing. But now that it's becoming serious from his side, I think it's becoming more real for her. And she's realizing that she doesn't have those feelings for him and is fucked up.
Well, and the other thing is, I'll keep beating this dead horse home. it's to me, it's that she lost control. She lost control on the situation. She lost control when the brother moved away. Now she's losing control on him.
And then my last or two kind of also leads into this is, or do you think it's more of he's changed enough to where like he doesn't remind her of his brother anymore?
I mean, I guess you could say that, but I don't think there's any evidence to support it.
Gotcha.
Also, we don't know how the brother actually acted.
That's what he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because those are my three like kind of questions when I was watching the scene. Like, what do you guys think about this? But like I said, we've discussed a whole lot of it.
Sure. So Naota fires, giant monster. Haruko and Amuro keep bickering for a while. And then Haruko furikuras him, pulls a tiny little guitar out of his forehead.
At the point, it isn't even a guitar. It's just a little triangle, a fleshy triangle.
Yeah, it's kind of shaped like a guitar.
It's just in the shape of a fleshy guitar. She goes, "Takun's a lot, man. You're pion."
Pion.
Mm-hmm. So Haruko goes and attacks the monster. Battle Bunny Haruko on her flying guitar. Meanwhile, Naota.
This is a reference to Riven from
yes.
League of Legends.
I'm not sure about timing on that, but okay.
It was a reference from me. Mamimi and Naota are on top of the monster, and Mamimi is like cowering in the corner and is pleading for Tasuku to come save her. And Naota gets pissed about this, calls for Kanti, yells, he's like, "Hey, don't call me Takun. I'm the one. Don't call me Takun ever again. Why are you calling for my brother? I'm the one saving you."
Yeah. Why are you calling for my brother? I'm the one that's going to save you.
He fuses with Kanti. At some point during this fight, there's a shot that lands in a billboard.
Which I would also like to point out when he gets eaten. It's really kind of a comical situation, even though it's really serious, because he's sitting there like looking at her all pissed. And then when you see him get eaten by Kanti, it's just like, how are you looking tough getting eaten by a fucking robot?
I think you can make it work. Haruko gets shot down, but is recovered by Kanti. She punches Kanti in the head, so he'll shoot his cannon.
He transforms into the cannon and shoots.
Yep. At which point the monster drops Mamimi.
Doesn't it miss?
He catches the Kanti catches Mamimi and drops her into the friend's truck.
The bullet returns into the barrel of Kanti. He shoots again.
Haruko gets shot down again, and Kanti catches her and goes red. He pulls out a guitar out of his face, and they're like, "That's Adamus' guitar."
Be careful with that. He went red when he ate Naota. It's always whenever he eats Naota is when he turns red. So he was already red, but
I don't think he was. Yeah,
he was. And then his face just like starts shooting out a beam, and that's when he pulls the guitar out of his face.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's just my shitty note-taking style. His face goes red
because his face is normally orange, but basically that red beam gets shot out of his face.
Yeah, his face goes red, and then he pulls out what we learn is Adamus' guitar. He goes and smashes the monster. The fight resolves. The bullet falls.
He hits it twice.
Can we talk about the fact that the monster has an awesome shotgun, the Terminator shotgun? I fucking love that shotgun.
Sure.
Lever action shotgun.
I was going to say that right now. The what?
Lever action shotgun?
Yep, the lever action shotgun, also known in MW2 as the 1887 shotgun? 1987? Fuck, I don't know what's it called.
I don't think that's... I don't know if that's the actual shotgun though, is it?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
But I actually really liked...
Terminator had it.
I really liked this robot because this one was just a fucking giant hand with hands on each of its fingertips, which if you think about it is really, really fucking creepy looking.
Also with the general like shootout or the general like shootout theme of this episode, there are a lot of times where it looks like someone wearing a poncho.
Yeah.
Yep. Gotta love the Wild West vibes.
Yeah.
Or Western vibes, but Anthony was saying.
After the fight resolves, we go over to where everyone's hanging out by the billboard. The bullet falls out.
Wait a second. So the Pirate King got pulled out, didn't he?
Not yet.
No.
Like, No? Okay. I thought he got pulled out.
So essentially,
In this
now
scene.
once I got shot out the second time, then the guitar got pulled out, and if you really want to think about it this way, Conti is just still using his residual link to Atomisk to continue the fight until the fight's done.
Yeah.
Did we actually talk
okay.
about the gunfight that happened in the barbershop? Because we talked about them standing off, but I don't know if we actually talked about the gunfight.
Not in like detail. We just kind of, if you have something specifically you want to call out, go for it. Talking about action scenes can be difficult.
True, but I just want to talk about like one particular like set of frames that comes out of there. The fact that they have like 5 FBI agents essentially come out of the fucking vent in the ceiling.
It's pretty good.
How the fuck did they all fit in there?
Fully cool.
Follicular.
Yeah, it's probably right, honestly.
She just fucking pulls the Matrix, except for she's moving in fast forward. They're all moving in slow motion to dodge all the bullets. It's fucking great. I love that scene.
Yeah, the action scenes in this still hold up. But yeah, we learned that the bullet is, well, okay, the bullet falls out. Nina Mori shoots it with her water gun. And we see that the bullet then morphs into Nauta, which is fucking perfect because this whole episode was about his ego starting to run away. Oh, and he wasn't the one who won the fight. He was the goddamn bullet. He was the
that's really
fucking
cool.
ammunition.
Yep, knocked him down a peg. And then everybody sees
Hell
him.
yeah.
Everybody sees him as not as piloting the robot, which was what was said earlier.
Yeah.
And then Haruko stands on top of him and looks in admiration at Conti's face. And we learn that she thinks she's looking at Atomisk.
Standing on him with fucking high heels.
Episode 5, good?
Yeah.
I think so.
Episode 6, FL Climax, our season, technically series finale. We open, we're learning to use chopsticks in school. And the teacher is real bad at it.
I actually,
In Japanese school.
I actually think I made a good realization on why she is part of the way she is. Because
she's a goddamn millennial.
no, because she's a foreign exchange teacher.
American.
Oh, is she?
I think so, because it catches her later on driving a foreign car. The Volkswagen that she ends up with.
Interesting.
And in Japan, they do have a pretty extensive foreign exchange program for teachers.
Yeah, especially when it comes to teaching English as a second language.
Yeah, so I do think that might be part of it. Like, that's their homeroom class, and she's just kind of trying to come up with shit.
Although, I mean, maybe. Although, from my experience with anime, they love their incompetent young female teachers.
I mean, that could also be part of it.
I have to go with Owens on that. There's no reason for her to be teaching how to do chopsticks.
But I love the teacher. She's great. The Nauta's friends are having a conversation about sporks. And one of them's like, I like sporks. And then Nina Moore's like, yeah, I like the sporks too. Which, fuck yeah, Nina Moore, you like sporks. Well, listen, I just have to keep calling out Nina Mori because we're going to circle back on her, okay?
All right.
Oh my God,
If that's
okay.
the thing-
Important. I think she's very, very, very important to understanding this show.
Oh God.
Okay.
I think you put way too much emphasis on
I
Nina
think
Moore.
I think we're just confused about like the fuck yeah, sporks.
Yeah, man, because I don't know. This is just kind of, it reinforces my point.
Okay.
Nauta walks out and they're like, yeah, he's going to get sporks. You fucking morons. No, he's not. We learn the town has been covered in mist. That hand that they defeated has just been hanging out there over by the iron. We learn that Haruko and Conti have vanished.
Which I think is why he's really depressed.
That's a bold claim. I would love evidence to support that.
I would fully agree with that statement, Anthony.
Gotta read between the lines, man.
Oh shit, you're so deep and smart. We at this point they explicitly say that the building is in iron. And this is where Kitsurubami talks about they want to iron out the wrinkles like in a human brain.
That's not Kitsurabami.
Oh, you're right. It's not. Sorry. I have so many fucking notes. I'm trying to blast through them. But yeah, no, she does. Is that not her?
No, that's Amuro.
Amuro says that? Okay.
Kitsurabami doesn't really give out a whole lot of information in the show. She's just kind of another one of those background characters to fill in like another like role, essentially.
I thought this was more of a back and forth, but either way, they have that conversation, and Kitsurabami drinks from the water bottle.
The Kool-Aid
from Amuro,
man.
which, hey, remember when I said that thing about the first episode about drinking from the same drink as someone else?
Yep.
And she freaks the fuck out and has a bad time because she just drank from Amuro's water bottle, and this dude sucks.
She ends up puking.
We see Mamimi looking for Nauta. She gets splashed by a Vespa and looks very unhappy.
Which this Naoto, I believe, is talking about the cat.
Huh?
I believe this Naoto, that when she's looking for the cat.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Because she doesn't give really flying two fucks about real Naoto now.
All the friends see Mamimi and Nauta just like pieces out. And everyone's like, hey, you're going to go see your wife?
Yeah, they just started calling everyone wives this episode, right? Or is that
just Mamimi?
I thought you talked about Haru too.
Yeah, the Kiss wife. Yep.
Yeah, because he's like the other wife, and then it's like she's the second wife, and like, fuck these kids.
Then this little fun robot little friend crawls out from under the bridge, and Mamimi sidles over to it real casual.
Yeah, real casual. Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that they went with like a couple different forms of anime, like just crouching over to it. Just the slight shuffle, the full anime, like raise the knee all the way up to the shoulder height and step over. Then the actual how it should look when she turns and sits down next to it.
I enjoyed that scene.
The robot starts going crazy, and she's like, "You're an energetic one, huh?" Almost like fuck off. We get a scene of Nauta and Amuro in the construction yard. Nauta is drinking a bitter coffee. And we see Takun with a female cat having a good time. Not like in a weird way, but just like chilling out, vibing. Amuro comments on Nauta's drink and says some bullshit, and then eventually gives him a pair of eyebrows.
Says you should try the sweet ones. Your brain needs more electrolytes.
Oh, in the sub, it's a specific thing with like, oh, your brain needs I forget which chemical it is. It's not like serotonin, but basically your brain needs to be happy, and sweet stuff makes you happy. Is what he says.
The dove actually screwed that up a little bit then, because it says your brain needs more electrolytes. You should try the sweet ones.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
They did fuck that up.
The more you know.
Oh, he also makes a comment of, dude, actually, so this is where Mamoru's like, okay, Amuro, you have some good points, my man. First, he says cats should play with other cats, which, yeah. Mm-hmm. And he's like, hey, man, that high school girl looked lonely. The mature thing to do would be to show her some kindness.
But I'm not sure that you can. He said, make some like offhanded backhand comment about like, I'm not sure that you're mature enough to do that right now.
Does he?
I don't remember that.
He does in the dub. It's really kind of an odd statement for him to make.
I wonder if the dub makes him shittier than he is.
Wow.
Also, I had this note right beforehand. I think it was a couple scenes before, but I want to mention this. This anime does so fucking much with just like the literal animation and music that it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fucking well done. I just want to.
It shows, but doesn't tell.
It's so good. Like, I just want to. I feel like I need that on the record. It's so fucking good.
No, this is one of those. This is one of my favorite like animation styles. Is when they show like a bunch of stuff instead of like actually telling you something. Is because they're not afraid to like animate what is happening.
Well, and the other thing I
like
love
that.
about the animation is just they time it so well with the music. So like something could be happening, and like when the sound gets more intense is when the intense things are exactly starting on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. The show is just, I said it in the first episode. I think the show might be genius. Like masterfully written, masterfully crafted. Where? Oh, okay. He tells Amuro, then tells Nauta more about Adamisk, and basically punctuates it with. Oh, he tells him the whole story of Adamisk, like, oh, he's the space pirate king, and Medical Mechanicus got him captured.
It starts to give a little bit more information about how the ability works of NO, and how you have to have the right and left brain, like they have to be in balance in order for essentially something to be able to be pulled through. He starts to give information about it, like it, but it just kind of doesn't.
Does the dub say right and left brain?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the sub is that explicit.
I would like to correct you because it's my favorite thing to do, but I cannot. I was so fucking like scramble brained writing all this shit down and like thinking about it while I'm writing it down. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I did not specifically hear left or right brain, but it's not to say there's not like another analogy that they used.
It wasn't in this episode. It was actually in the last one that they actually did say the halves of the brain or something to that effect. I still
don't think they actually explicitly say it in the show or in the sub. It's possible, and I just missed it. That's why I was asking for a correction.
Well, and the other thing is like you were saying, the dub could have stepped in and went, here, we're going to make this a little bit more
accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I was curious. But yeah, he explains all that, and then he punctuates it with saying, oh, by the way, Haruko is in love with Adamisk. We cut back over to Mamimi. The robot steals her phone as she's looking at Tasku's number. She stops him and then is like, you know what? Fuck it. Just eat it. He eats it. It grows. And she's like, but you have to be Taku now.
I love the fact that like she has this moment, right? Like, just eat it. It's fine. Like, let's move on, kind of thing. And then she was like, and then it like becomes something. It like literally grows, and she's like, you're Taku.
That's how she just names everything Takun.
Well, not even that. Just like it's like such a cool little moment that's so quickly taken into like a LOL moment. You know what I mean?
Well, the other thing is she ends up lighting another one of those cigarettes that says "Never Knows Best."
Yeah.
We get a quick scene of Nauta sadly twanging guitar on his bed.
I would also like to make a note before we get away from the Mamimi thing that the same thing that keeps happening to Mamimi, like you just notice the same shit always seems to repetitively happen. Nauta, the cat. What do we think is going to happen here?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yep. You're right.
Then we get another manga scene.
I really enjoyed this one.
This one's even better than the first one.
And they full fucking break fourth wall to the point where like, we have to the end of it. They're like, we have to stop eating manga now because people think it's lazy, but actually it takes so much more work and effort. And then the studio's like, you guys can't do that anymore because it's too hard.
But I would like to say,
everyone calls us lazy anyway.
I would like to take a note when you see Naoto walking down the stairs right before it pans them, looking outside the bakery. You do see the bike parked out front, so you do know that she's there if you're paying attention.
Interesting.
But yeah, she's back.
Yeah. Does anyone have anything to say about the content of the manga scene? Because I'm just gonna blow past it if we don't.
It basically just starts towards the end of it. Almost shows the dad just fucking jacking it.
Yeah,
but they get lazy with the drawing, so it's the kind of left up to interpretation. But it's fucking perfect.
Yeah,
but I do love how like the first like 3 or 4 frames are them just strictly being lazy and reusing the exact same frames from the first.
Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, even the shot of him walking down the stairs with the cat in the doorway is basically the exact same thing. And I don't think it's lazy. I think it's intentional.
Oh, I do too, but still, it's great.
Yeah. And at the end of this is also where we get the what does Flcl mean? And it doesn't matter, which we already talked about.
Yep.
Then Haruko attacks Naoto again.
Misses once, but then hits him on the backswing.
Yeah. Then we get up to them talking in their bed. Or Naoto is just like talking in his bed.
Nope.
He's like, hey, are you asleep?
You're skipping just a little bit. You skip the scene where he's in the shower, just sitting there kind of pissed off as he's washing himself, and you see that he's got another bandage on his forehead.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Then he's talking in his bed to himself. He's like, "Oh, you're asleep? No. Why'd you come back? What are you? Where are you really from?" Then she reveals that she's been awake this whole time. He gets embarrassed.
Were you gonna confess your love for me?
Yeah. She fucks with him a little, and then she tells him like, "Yeah, I came back." Or he asks why she came back. He's like, "You're the only head that works." And Haruko offers to take him with her. Tells him he's still a kid.
Yes, sir.
Which we'll talk about that later, I think.
I have a question for you guys then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is me asking and also cueing, if that makes sense.
I would like you to bring up that statement from before as well, before you forget, where you were asking, where you were saying he looked like he was depressed.
Yeah. Wait, from right here?
Because I think this section right here shows that he was depressed in that first scene where all said he went out for sports, because you can tell how much he actually missed her.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that kind of, you can stretch that into this point. So did we know anything about the brother?
No.
Not really.
We know he plays baseball. He's in America. He has a blonde girlfriend.
Okay, so do you think this would be a stretch? And I'm just grasping at straws here when I say that his dad is a shit show.
Yep.
His grandpa is less of a shit show, but it seems like he still only has like one or two things on his mind at a time, right? Uh-huh. Do you think his brother was his emotional support?
Yeah. Or at the very least, his brother was someone that seemed better, that he had like a strong connection with. I
would go as far as to say that because of everybody else in his life, his brother was his idol and his only semblance of rational thought in his life.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I was kind of getting along the lines too. Maybe not that specifically, but
because you're left to assume that the mother died sometime before the series began. The fucking dad has lost his journalism job and is running the bakery downstore while also trying to get his own publication, basically shit smut magazine going. And you've got grandpa who's retired and just basically living off the family, which is fairly standard practice.
Baseball too. Like he has his own fucking...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and that, think about all the other characters too. Like they've all been abandoned by somebody.
Yeah, well,
so we think.
So what I'm trying to do is tie this into like with this line. You're still a kid.
You're still a kid.
You're just a kid.
Yeah. Well, however the specific, it's still implying that Do you think that he sees her as a replacement for her brother in terms of emotional support?
I think it's gotten there.
I think there is definitely some of that. Yes, I mean, pretty clearly later there's something else, but I definitely think that that's a part of it. I mean, she sleeps on his bunk and plays baseball, so
and that's kind of this is where I, being a first time watcher, spotted that idea. Is like this is where she kind of realized, like, this is she steps up. I don't specifically know why. You guys might have more on that, but she steps up in like this is like my biggest theme is that right there, right? Is like, you're still a kid. You don't have to be an adult. What you think of an adult, it may not be true.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what Haruko is saying here?
It's, to me, it's
in this scene, not you. I know you have an answer to this. But I want to know what Anthony thinks.
Because she said it right after, like, this was right after she asked if he wanted to go with her, right?
Uh-huh.
And then I don't remember his response, but then she was just like, "You're still a kid," or "You're just a kid," or whatever,
I don't think he does respond.
Oh, yeah.
He responds by shoving his face into her chest while crying and asking, "Where did you go?"
Yeah, and then, like, he says that, so, like, this was a very, like, because I remember that happening where they're just, like, cuddling, and, like, and it's not weird at all. They're not cuddling, sorry. They're embracing, and it's not weird at all, and it seems like this is, like, the emotional moment that, and then, like, she says, "You're a kid," and, like, that's kind of, I think...
Interesting.
I think that's a huge fucking thing in this scene.
No, I don't think you're wrong, but it's interesting that you took that here.
Let me break it down a little bit more for you as well, because if you watch the scene closer, so she says, she says, you could go with me. You're just a kid. And that was kind of his cue to be able to go back to, acting his age, acting what's normal for his age, not having to be so serious. Then when he shows his vulnerable side to her, you can see her kind of start to put one arm around him to comfort him, to act like that that big brother replacement figure. But you also see her look off into the distance, going kind of with this look on her face of, oh shit, what did I do?
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, that could be her whole thing, is manipulating him. But I'm really talking in terms of him. Like, this is his emotional replacement. It's his reckoning. I feel like up until episode 5 seemed to me like everyone was like, you're growing up, you're growing up, you're growing up, you're growing up. And then episode 6, this scene right here is like, man, you're still a kid. And you know that, right?
No. I have to stop you there.
I would actually have to agree with him.
I agree mostly. But there is a character constantly trying to keep Naota in his place. And it's Nina Mori. She's constantly ragging on him, constantly, especially in the episode almost devoted to her, trying to serve as that reminder that yo, I'm the same fucking age as you. We're in the same goddamn class. We're still fucking kids.
Yeah, well, but
Orange, I would like to actually step in here and tell you, or talk to you about this, because honestly, I feel like after that episode, she stops really playing an active role to him. I mean, don't get me wrong, she still has that.
Right.
I actually
she still has that childhood. She still has that childhood crush, but she's kind of just trying to tease him almost as a way of flirting.
Because I agree until the last part.
Because, well, no, I mean, she already has shown that she wants Naoto's attention. She wants to be in a
right, but the last interaction with him that she has up to this point is when she, for the first time, tells him that he looks cool.
When he looks cool.
It's in the gun episode.
No, her last interactions where she's shooting the pistol at him when he's in the fucking ball after he got shot out of the cannon.
But that's not a real interaction.
Well, it's a realization that she realizes he doesn't look quite as cool as what she said before, but that I would say that it still has more to do with her just kind of more or less flirting with him.
Sure, but I mean, my point is, I think Nina Mori is an extremely good grounding agent for this series and should have been for Naota, and by the end, I think is, and he ignores it.
Yeah. I mean, that's not I think that's a. So in that scene, not the shooting scene, but the last referencing scene, right, where she's like, "You're cool." Mm-hmm. I feel like that kind of helps the point of it's more people saying "Hey, you're growing up, you're becoming different, you're becoming this," and then literally Haru grounds him right here from what she said.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, the one thing I'll take is a little bit of syntax here. I don't know how it is in the dub, but we've been saying just she says you're still a kid. And I think the connotations of still and just can be a world of difference.
I think they're pretty much the same, in my opinion.
If that's where you're getting a lot of your points from, I could see that.
No, it's not. But that's just a minor thing I wanted to bring up. But also, kind of to Matt's point, when Naota goes in for the cry hug, we see Haruko's face, and it's, I think, very readable as a detached, she doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, and I completely agree. I think she's completely detached. I'm focusing more on Naoto's point of view.
I don't even think that she's necessarily completely detached, but it almost looks like, to me, and this is just my opinion, it almost looks like a feeling, a look of almost guilt, a what have I done kind of look.
Oh, to him over the series kind of thing? I've broken him.
Yeah, she keeps looking away I'm just using him. What am I doing to this little kid?
I don't think, I don't agree with that here at all.
I could see it. I don't know if it's true, though.
I could see it, but...
She keeps having these moments throughout the whole series where she'll just kind of have these little moments where she's proud of him, but she won't show that to him.
I think those are even still like you can kind of call those into question. I think we'll talk about Haruko. To I guess wrap up how I feel about your question though, Anthony. I think Haruko is for whatever reason, Naota feels like he can be, or no, not even that he feels like he can be a certain way with her. He by now has had a realization, right? And this is all just going to come to a head, that he feels a certain way about Haruko, and that's what's important to him. So the facade of being mature, the facade of being stoic and uncaring, none of that matters anymore. Does that make sense?
At this point, yes.
I can give you that. I just don't necessarily think that it's not somewhat reciprocated, especially with the later events in this episode.
Oh, yeah, totally. I think it is somewhat reciprocated in this scene. I don't think so, but in the whole, I think yes, totally.
I think in this scene it is personally, just because, like I said, I get the vibe of, like, what am I doing to this little kid?
Sure. But just for the sake of moving, we revisit our first monologue of blah, 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 blah. Nothing happens, but Haruko is here. And that's how I know that there's the world outside. Like, he's leaning into the fact that he feels a certain way about Haruko. Mamimi is feeding Takun. Haruko and Naota are riding away. We don't hear them, but they're clearly having a merry chat.
Which can we talk about how Mamimi is feeding the fucking feeding Takun with these fucking devil red eyes?
I love it.
God damn that, it was creepy and jarring the first time I saw it.
And she's feeding him with cell phones that she stole from kids at school.
Yeah.
Initially,
yeah.
And then she says, "Oh, you need bigger food. These aren't enough anymore."
He's got her fucking hit list.
God damn.
We learned that Naota has been missing for a while. And if this is where we want to wrap, this is where you need to wrap Nina Mori, I think. Because we get the gym class scene. Nina Mori is talking to her friends, and she basically just says, like, yeah, I went and talked to my parents and cried a bunch.
I cried, dude, my parents. And then she runs off and sets a record on the jump at the class.
And then in the fucking most punch you in the face metaphor in this entire series, she literally jumps a hurdle.
I didn't even think about that.
That's good. That's so good.
I just don't necessarily see it as being, I mean, don't get me wrong. It is pertinent, but it's not as important as I think you're leading it to be.
What?
Don't get me wrong. It is kind of showing like the difference in character development versus Naoto, where Naoto is essentially taking and deviating from the order that was in his life or what he wanted to be mature, versus going in the route of her just accepting her feelings and rolling with it. He's just fucking going, okay, fuck order. I'm going to go straight with my feelings now.
So here's where we differ. Because I think you're right. I think this show is 100% about balance. But I think it's about a balance of the adult and the child. And how, no matter how old, no matter how mature you get or whatever, the child never truly goes away. And Nina Mori, after episode 3, or before episode 3, she was very much paralleling Naota and everyone else in the series, where they were clinging to something so hard that they were stuck on like a certain line. And we'll get more specific with that on other characters later. But Nina Mori her parents were starting to break up. So she tried to act mature and uncaring like Naota was. She started to emulate who she saw as more mature people, which funnily enough turned out to be the mistress that was breaking up her family. But after she came to the realization that was not the correct path, she did like the Puss in Boots play. She got her parents to come to it. She talked to them. She cried a bunch. She just let her feelings out there. She became okay with being a kid. Like, we go back to Brittle Bullet. She loves her dinky little water pistol. It barely shoots. It's cheap, but to her, it's pretty.
See, to me, and don't get me wrong, I see where you're coming at that. I'm not like blind to it, but it's just, to me, it just seems like more or less, she doesn't necessarily change who she is. She just more comes into an acceptance of reality and just dealing and learning how to deal with it in a more healthy manner. Not necessarily balance of kid and adult, but more balance in my eyes of logical versus emotional, and how you should deal with them rather than. And I think we're talking basically two sides of the same coin as our discussion here, but it's just like we're differing ever so slightly on how we're seeing it shaped.
Yeah, totally.
I got a take.
Yeah, go.
So this was a really interesting scene, and I liked it a lot. I really like Nina Mori. I like her character like a bunch. I would be jumping on your side and everything you say if she would have gotten more screen time in general.
So here's my answer to that, Anthony. You would be on Orange's side if you read the manga.
Oh, interesting.
She has a more prevalent role in the manga than she does in the anime.
I haven't read the manga for what it's worth.
I have. She actually keeps her robot for a little longer.
And I think you guys are already going seeing where I'm going with this, but like, because they've given so much screen time to Mamimi, and so much screen time to obviously Haru, and
Haruko.
I'm just gonna abbreviate, and like the amount of screen time like they're given, like it's. I don't think this was their complete intention, but I feel like they had 23 minutes and they felt other things were more important, which I understand. You have time constraints and stuff. But they just kind of like I feel like her line was literally, I talked to my parents, I gave her my feelings, I cried and stuff. And like,
I mean,
and it's
more or less.
And like reading into that, like I guess it is kind of weird because the manga, everything's kind of based on that.
No. This was an anime first.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
No. Remember Orange? They came out at the same time.
Oh, they came out like fucking simultaneously. Yeah. I think we talked about that.
Yeah, it was really odd.
That's kind of weird. That's kind of cool and weird, but yeah, it was literally like her, and that's kind of her style too. So I like that's why I try to focus a little bit on it. But I feel like with her screen time and stuff, they didn't feel like it was as prevalent to make her the grounding of him so much just her responsibility as a character.
Right, but see, here's why I think her character arc is that, because she escapes it. Everyone, like I said, everyone else is caught in their own thing, including Naota, and up to this last episode. But after episode 3,
do you think everything
out.
else is out too? Not after episode 3, but at the end of the series.
I think Naota gets out, and Mamimi maybe probably, but that's it.
I think Mamimi does. I don't even think that Nina Mori does, based off.
I mean, that's like what 2.5 of the 4 characters, though. So that's the majority, right?
I would say Nina Mori actually still falls into the same issue at the end, because you can see her basically taking the spot of Mamimi at the end.
I read that a little bit differently.
About that. If this is her last thing we're talking about,
I totally think, I totally think Nina Mori, like I said, serves to show what it looks like when someone escapes that mentality of trying to be someone that you're not. After episode 3, she just falls comfortably into who she is. She gives herself over to her feelings, and she just takes life as it comes and whatever. I mean, we'll see it a little later. She obviously has feelings for Naota, and she sees them on the bench, and she just kind of looks and is like,
Orange, remind
whatever,
me of this later,
away.
because I actually hard disagree based on the last scene, but we'll get there.
all right, let's jump through.
Sure. Haruko and Naota are at the rest stop. They bought ramen bowls. Haruko bought a jumbo size shitty one, and she hates it, so she wants to trade.
He's scolding her, saying you can't always buy the big ones because you got to get the ones that are less quantity but better quality.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes,
and she's like, "Yeah, fuck it."
She goes,
No, he said name brand.
He did specifically say name brand.
Yeah, and then he also says like she basically forces him to trade, and he's like, bad things are gonna happen to you if you keep doing stuff like this.
if you keep being selfish.
And she's like, yeah, whatever, that's fine.
Sometimes when you get bad tasting food, it can be fun too. And it's just like, that's an odd statement, but okay.
I agree with Haruko here, even though she's being a little shit. Eating bad ramen can be fun.
No.
Dude, it's an experience.
Eating bad food can be fun.
Like, how many memories do you have of like, just eating shit fucking food and then like that being a story later on?
Very few, but I totally understand that it is one. We talked about Nina Mori finding them. Mamimi is going on a Takun rampage, eating everyone's scooters.
No, not everyone. Just the ones that have done her wrong. Like the one that ran over the puddle next to her and soaked her.
Yeah, which I had in my notes, but I guess I missed. Oh, no, I mentioned that. Never mind. And then runs into Nauta's friends. And Takun attacks. And she's like, no, wait, I have no problem with them. And it eats their truck.
Is that actually what happens next?
The delivery truck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or one of them is like, hey, look, it's the wife he dumped or whatever.
Yeah, they immediately start making fun of her, and then he attacks.
Yeah.
Because it's the dumped wife. And then it cuts to the
parent-teacher meeting.
Yeah, the parent-teacher conference.
The teacher at the house, she's like, skipping school is bad. And he's like, back in 3rd or 4th grade. He talks about his own school skipping experience.
No, he doesn't talk about his school skipping experience. He talks about how he killed the class hamster.
Oh, yeah, right. Because he
true.
came back when he was still sick and the hamster got sick. So missing school isn't all bad. And she's like, no, you fucking asshole. I'm talking about your child.
I just love how he just totally forgets about fucking Naota and just starts talking about how he killed a fucking hamster. It's like, what the fuck, man? Come on.
Amuro and Kitsurubami run into Takun. Kanti is hanging out as a crossing guard.
Yeah, what?
He's in this green outfit with the crossing guard flag.
I'm just saying, you guys, at the beginning of these episodes, these two characters are wanted criminals, and the fact that the robot's just crossing guard is like the stupidest thing ever.
Well, I don't know how you can tell him apart from other people. Like, he blends in pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I guess so. I mean, there's another robot in the street.
He's just ahead with the television screen.
Fully coolly.
Yeah, it's fully coolly.
He fuses with Takun, which we learn is the terminal core. Immediately destroys the teacher's car. Which she's not happy about.
I got way too much pleasure out of that. Not destroying her car once, but twice.
Oh, hold on. I have to click over to my Spotify real quick before I continue talking about this scene.
But it doesn't grab Amuro as well.
No, so it actually goes for Kitsurubame, but Amuro throws her back and kind of protects her. And we get Naota and Haruko racing toward the scene, and fucking Last Dinosaur kicks in. Last Dinosaur fucking jams, dude.
He's sitting on top of the hand staring at the core and saying it's waiting on something, and then they're flying towards the hand.
Yeah, so then we basically get them launched towards it. Amuro shoots them out of the sky. Amuro then confronts Naota and again makes some good fucking points. He's like, dude, none of this is good. This all sucks. She's manipulating you. Like, what are you doing? And Naota chooses Haruko. And she embraces him and tells him, I need you to get what I want. And slams him so he fuses with the core. And we basically now learn that Haruko doesn't care. She just wants Atomisk.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily until not quite yet, because it still implies that she does care about him to an extent, but she does have something she's after and she needs his help. It doesn't really like show that she's fully like doesn't give a shit about him until the moment after where she fails.
Sure.
Just a quick aside. Okay, you agree with that?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay. How close are we to the end of the episode?
Pretty close. Why?
Okay, I just want to make sure. Any deep dives, I think we wait till the end now.
Yes, totally.
Okay, I just want to put that out there.
So, and this is where we learn that Haruko's not in love with Atomisk. She wants to eat Atomisk. She wants to become Atomisk.
It's one of those cases where, yes, she is in love with Atomisk. It's not necessarily the person, but she's in love with the concept of his power.
But she doesn't want to be with it. She wants to be it. There's a difference.
You can still love the power.
Yeah, she loves the power.
Yeah.
But she wants to wield it herself.
Yeah. So it shows what Medical Mechanica is actually trying to do with the representation with all the irons.
Yeah, yeah.
And it shows
So fucking dumb.
this is all with voiceover from Armoro, just like fucking panicking and going, "It's all over."
Yeah. The hand that was there grabs the iron and slams down, or goes to slam on the iron and grab it. But wait, Conti's holding it up. And then Nauta bursts out of Conti, full red, holding 2 guitars.
Let's go, baby.
Holding 2 guitars in particular.
Mm-hmm.
His guitar and Adamisk's guitar from previous episode.
I'm just saying, this is my last note of the show. I fucking love dual wielding. I'm a big fan of dual wielding. When a character dual wields, it makes me so fucking happy. And when the fucking kid is dual wielding 2 guitars, I fucking love it. There's a thing that I would like to talk about. It's called Kingdom Hearts 2.
Ugh.
When the fucking kid, Soa, is dual wielding 2 keyblades, and I'm like, I'm jizzing everywhere. Because it's so fucking cool.
Don't.
It's
Wait.
so cool.
Uh-oh.
I'd like to add a note to that. Can we all agree that game was awesome when we were growing up as kids, but if you actually try to replay it now, it does not play worth a shit.
Can we all agree that I was jizzing and kid should not be in the same sentence?
All right, moving on.
Yeah, sorry. I was actually just stalling while I looked for my place in the notes. Haruko then attacks him fucking furious, basically shouting that Adamisk, that power is mine.
When you actually see him pop out, you see he's glowing red and he has the logo on his head, but he shoots through the hand. It frees Mamimi, who was stuck on it, on the hand as well.
Yeah.
And then she starts going after him. Haruko starts going after Naota.
Yeah. And again, she's very upset. She wants the power for herself. Naota pretty easily dispatches her. He's about to go in for the killing blow. Amuro is shouting, teach her a lesson, like, fucking get her, like, hell yeah.
Yeah, and then he fuses the two guitars together.
Mm-hmm. Naota then, flying towards Haruko, stops right in front, turns back to normal, says, I love you. Haruko, for potentially the first time in the series, I think, legitimately is taken aback, caught off guard. And he goes in and kisses her.
It goes to Armoro with this just really dumb animation style of him just screaming and crying.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that kiss was the Pirate King, or you think that was Naoto?
No, that was Naoto, 100%.
Okay.
Worth noting that this is the first kiss in the series that he has initiated on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
And gotten through with.
Swinging that bat.
Adamisk then emerges from Naota's head. Everything starts to like swirl and looks like it's going to get like lifted and sucked in.
The hand that's still up in the fucking sky gets sucked into Adamisk.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts to lift the iron.
Yeah. But eventually all this means nothing and he blasts off.
I do like the symbolism that they made him look almost like a phoenix.
Oh, yeah, they did.
I think he looked more dragon-y to me, but it's got some real Rodan vibes.
Rising from the ashes there.
Sure. She's floating in the sky on her Vespa, about to leave, and she again pauses the question, hey, want to come with me?
Oh, if you notice on her Vespa, it's actually got the fused guitar on the Vespa.
Yep, and it's also floating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which kind of makes the whole Gundam as fucking parts for a Vespa make a whole lot more sense.
No, it doesn't. What?
See, the reason her Vespa never takes any damage from all the crashes is because it's made of Gundanium. Yeah, she asked him again, hey, you want to come with me? And before he gets to respond, or he doesn't respond for a moment, and she's like, nah, you can't.
She goes, you're still just a kid. Save it for next time.
There's no save it for next time.
Yes, there is.
Is there in the sub?
There is in the dub. The word is the phrase is, "You want to come with?" You know what? Forget it. Save it for next time because you're still just a kid.
Anthony, if you want to fact check that real quick.
I actually am playing it right now,
real
so that's
fast.
why.
No, on the sub.
Oh,
Because what I have is want to come with me? Nah, you can't. You're still a kid.
That's why I think it was 2.
Yeah, all those extra words add a lot of connotation. But regardless of that, and we'll circle back when it's fact checked if we need to. If it wasn't clear from before, like we mentioned, we then get a shot of Haruko's guitar
yeah.
to show that, oh, she left her guitar behind and took Naota's. We get a shot then of Naota standing with his guitar looking into the sky. Mamimi takes a picture of him. And we cut to a letter that she sent where she's saying, hey, later, Naota.
Yeah, it's him enunciating it.
Yeah. And then Nina Mori steals Naota's drink. They kind of fall back into their old dynamic. She tells him that uniform doesn't look cool on him. He yells about like, hey, you're at least going to pay for this drink. I can't drink carbonated stuff.
It's too carbonated.
Yeah. He has a monologue, it's very reminiscent of the first one, but still contradicts it. And we end on a twang of the guitar in his room.
I'd also like to note that Conti's back at their house just fucking dusting mats.
Sure.
Yep. I mean, he's a medical supply unit.
Anthony.
Yep. So
Did you find our fact check?
I did. So I don't specifically know what the thing or what you guys were debating, but it is. Do you want to come with me? And then there's a pause. And then she says, nah, you can't, period. And then she says, Takun, ... And then like she puts her glasses down. And she goes, you know you're still a kid. And then glides off.
Okay. You know you're still a kid. That's actually more interesting.
You know you're still a kid. That's the subversion.
So it is ever so slightly different from the dub. That's interesting.
You know how we Americans like to have everything so happy.
Well, I think it kind of added a connotation that they didn't intend for, because at the time, I don't ever think they were ever intending on revisiting this show.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, I mean, if I know correctly, I think the sequels does not cover.
I think it does Haruko, but it doesn't do Naota.
It
Yeah, I
doesn't
don't
do
think it does
Naruto. And I actually
Yeah.
didn't mind it, but I don't think it's as good as these right here.
That is a very common opinion. I have cast aside my notebook.
Oh, shit. We're going in, boys.
Let's do it. Grandfather, fuck him.
Facts.
Don't really find
The
him
dad.
to be that important. The dad can be seen as somewhat important, but again, is more of a background character that doesn't make a whole lot of difference in this series.
I feel like the dad, you say he is important in the fact like it shows you who was like quote unquote responsible for raising him, but also fuck him.
Okay, my take on the dad is, again, I think all these characters are running parallel to each other. His dad is stuck on, he's still stuck on the immaturity part.
I think he's also stuck on the fact that he's trying to be a reporter, although I think he lost his job.
Yeah,
trying to be
exactly.
one.
But
Yeah, he's
he
stuck.
could he could resign his life to running that bakery and probably be fine. But he's so stuck on what he wants to be, what he thinks he is. And again, like Naota correctly, I think calls him out for his fucking stupid ass behavior. He's the perfect example of someone who is an adult but failed to gain any maturity.
Yeah.
Monkey, any thoughts on the dad?
I mean, let's go. I think the dad plays a bigger role than what Vivi says, but that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, let's go. Conti.
Conti is so based on what you guys have said and what I have interpreted based on what you guys have said. What are take on the character? I like Conti. Conti's fun. Conti provides.
Huh? I was gonna say, how do you think how do you feel like he relates to the overall story and ties into everybody and like the general themes and shit?
Oh fuck, I don't know. I haven't thought about that enough. Go ahead. In terms of like, because I really don't relate him to the theme of being a kid and stuff. So
Yeah, sure, that's fine. I think Conti's a hard one. Monkey, any thoughts on Conti?
Who's Conti?
Okay, great. Vivi, any thoughts on Conti?
Conti is the robot.
I know. I was just wondering. My bad.
that was just really fucking funny.
No, I know that was just a perfect set up for a joke. I'm sorry. If you have thoughts on Kanti, you can go.
I know, dude. It's so good. I don't mind. Go on. I have nothing to say about Tonki or Web Conti.
Yeah.
Fucking love Tonki.
Really? I heard he's pretty kick-ass in System of a Down. So I feel like outside of his like the action roles that he plays, he just plays like a little bit of a comical relief, and essentially like he's your example of what Medical Mechanica wants. Like they just want people to just do what they're told to do, no questions, just do what you're told. And he only like seems to have any kind of emotion or like oddness in character when he's called out for being like standing out and weird.
Okay. My take on Kanti is I think Kanti kind of plays like tandem with Nina Mori. Honestly, Matt saying earlier that Kanti was the shell for Atomisk kind of blew my fucking mind and made me have another level of realization where Kanti is Atomisk removed from ego. Where if you take Atomisk as like the idealized person or the idealized whatever, Kanti is also that in a way where he comes in and he's invoked with Tasku for the most part from Nauta. So we start to have these feelings of Kanti is fuck, this is hard. Kanti holds a power, right? He seems invincible. He's powerful. He's from Nauta's eyes in theory, like what a man should be. And if you time to Atomisk, from Haruko's eyes, he's what a person should be. A person should strive for power. But then you remove him from the Atomisk part, which if you take that as ego, all Kanti has is the power without the self-serving. So he is constantly helping people. Like he does whatever Mamimi wants. He's just there to have a good time. He's doing that again. There's multiple times where he's just fucking around, like he's learning to make bread. He gets embarrassed multiple times. He goes and plays baseball because why not? At the end, he gets into a fight with the lieutenant, who now that I don't have the notes in front of me, I don't remember her name, and then helps her up. Afterwards, if you're going to pick an idealized version of a person from this show, it's Kanti. He's just good.
I mean, I'll give you that his character like just is lawfully glued on the alignment chart, but I don't think he necessarily has as much personality as you're giving him.
No, I don't think he does have that much personality or necessarily agency, but in terms of what he represents, I think he represents like a pure goodness.
Just my only last thoughts on him is I would subscribe more to he's what Medical would want him to be, or would want everyone to be.
The problem is that there's no individuality with just pure Kantis everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that is a conversation that anime definitely is willing to talk about.
Yeah, that would be my subscribing code on him.
Okay. Mamimi.
So, quick closing thoughts on Mamimi. I think that she played a very interesting early role in the episodes in terms of Takun or Naoto.
Naoto, don't call him Takun.
Sorry, he's no longer Takun. And Naoto's like development. I think whether it's a positive or a negative, like that early, like because she's technically in high school. I know they keep saying elementary school, but I think isn't that like middle school for us?
So she's in high school. She's 17.
6th grade is middle school for us.
Yeah. Nauta, yeah.
Yeah, and however weird that is, I think it's kind of an interesting, concept of like his brother moved away. She was infatuated with him. Now all she has left is that. I think that's a very interesting take, and that develops him. I'm just going to use the word sexually, but like I want to throw that into the realm of maturity. You know what I mean? Into maturing.
Sure.
And I think that's like she does that kind of side of thing and like helping him mature. Whether or not it's a acceptable thing, you can debate all you want. And then I think at the end, she kind of realizes maybe what she's done or what she's on the path of doing, and decides against that. And honestly, like even your heartbreak adds maturity, right? Like your first ever heartbreak, which I'm kind of assuming this is. And so I think that even doubles down, not necessarily doubles down, but like it joins that kind of. And I think she plays that. And now this is where I want to throw it to you guys because you guys said it was hopeful. Why do you think it's hopeful? Or I guess Sal can go first. Then why do you think it's hopeful?
Sure. Can I just say I love that you took it back to the heartbreak part because I think I said in the first week that like everyone in the series, or at least the central characters that we care about, are also focused on unrequited love. Like again, even Nina Mori fucking is infatuated with Naota, but he doesn't give a shit about her.
Yeah, that's my take.
Love it. I think you nailed that.
Sal,
I think she's one of the saddest characters in the show. Like, she has the codependence thing and everything about it, and like, all I'm gonna say is I hope that she makes it as a photographic person,
Photographer.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I'm hoping for is she makes it to that because like, her story to me is the saddest one out of everybody else's, and like, because basically no one wants her. And I mean, basically, no one wants her. And what's good? And I hope that she's able to pass through that and figure out something that she actually likes. Which we do know, like she likes to take pictures. So I'm hoping that profession actually does come through for her. And hopefully she does not go back to what's falling off the wagon like she did like 2 or 3 times during these 6 episodes.
Matt, do you want to take the hopeful thing or want me to take it?
I'll get it. I'll try at least. So
yeah, go nuts.
I do have to agree with both of y'all sentiments. She probably is one of the sadder characters in the show. The hopeful thing, just to tackle that right away, is essentially it's kind of written as because she takes the photo and it kind of gives her inspiration. She leaves town to do photography. If you pay attention in the scenes, you actually see that the photo that she took of Naota holding Haruto. Damn it.
The guitars.
Haruko's guitar.
Yeah, Haruko's guitar
actually ends up in the newspaper.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And so it's inclined to.
That's a good call. I missed that.
It's inclined to believe that she got a jump start into that, and so she's just going to chase that full force, which shows that she's hopeful that she has something that she can, focus on and put her energy towards that will prevent her from just being the lovesick puppy dog that can't do nothing for herself. That she basically spent most of the series kind of being. The biggest thing for her is just getting out of town, getting a new start with people that don't know her is probably the best thing that she could have done. So that way she can get rid of and get away from the stigma that she has from being there, and having the career to go after as well. Honestly, is just the bonus to make that a reality. And that's it. That's about all I got.
Yeah, I agree with all of you. And I just want to compound it with kind of stuff we were talking about before. With Adamus, again, being like the ideal thing, the ideal being. And Naota threw it away.
I don't even necessarily think he's the ideal. But anyway.
I mean, he's presented that way. But we can get into that later.
Or at least just a ridiculous amount of power, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can do whatever you want. You're the coolest fucking person in the world. Whatever. But Naota has this. He's embodying this power, and he throws it away for Haruko, who he knows doesn't love him back. But he swings the bat anyway. And I think this whole chain of events ending with that exchange of guitars, again, on top of what all of you said, makes Mamimi kind of come to this realization, this revelation. She needs to let go of that stuff. She has this idealization of Tuska, but she needs to let it go and move on with her life and figure out who she is for herself.
Makes sense.
Talked about her a lot. Let's go Nina Mori.
Hers is gonna be pretty quick for me. And honestly, I think a good way for me though is she had her issues. There was a whole episode, sort of, kind of, I wouldn't say dedicated, but like it was essentially her episode in this thing, right, with the divorce, and that was what most of her screen time was at. and we got all of her stuff. And then they kind of threw her in the back 2 episodes. I think we got a couple scenes in episode 5, and I think a few in episode 6. So there weren't as many, but it resolves her story in that she was like, look, she didn't say this, but to me it felt like she was saying, like, or they were trying to say, like, she was this girl that very much was like, I don't care. And then she finally opened up and she's like, she still did it in like a logical point of view, but she was like, I opened up and it felt good. But like, and she tried to like keep emotions out of that. It felt good. It's kind of weird saying that, but it felt like she's a very logically driven, emotional individual.
Sure.
And that's kind of all I got for her.
I do care, and that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I do think that you're right. It is a grounding character to compare Naoto to, for especially his logical points of views, because he even does that thing where his dad is like fooling around. He's like, I don't care. But like, he cares. Mm-hmm. And the only difference is we don't see her inside working like we see Naoto, because he's obviously the protagonist.
Yeah.
Naoto, sorry.
She is by far my favorite character out of the series.
Really?
I love episode 3. I think episode 3 is a fun episode, even though they have her in gym clothes for no fucking reason. And I think I'm mad about that because she is one of my favorite characters. I like her personality. Like, I like her story just because, I mean, what Anthony says, like the whole thing, I don't care. And then you finally she's finally realizing like, that's not the right way to approach this. Like, I need to talk and all this other stuff. Like, and then the final scene is like, it's just so that's, I mean, we everybody knew that she likes Naruto, but like
everyone likes Naruto.
Yeah, everybody likes him, but like everybody. And I like her story. I think she has one of the best stories in the entire show. It makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. My feelings on Nina Mori, I think, are well documented at this point. So I'll just jump straight into the scene at the end that we are trying to talk about, where she steals his drinks part of it, gives it back. He's like, I can't drink carbonated stuff. And she's like, oh, you don't look cool in that uniform, by the way. And they kind of fall back into that dynamic.
Yeah.
For me, that comes off as a little more hopeful. It comes off a little more playful in the way, and especially since like more than once in the series, we've had it's been shown that like drinking from the same container as someone else is like, uh-oh, yucky. Right? Mm-hmm. And now that's not his problem. His problem is it's carbonated and he doesn't like that.
Oh, I see.
So I feel like it's leaving it very ambiguous, but I feel like it's setting it up where there's hope for Naota and Nina Mori.
Sure.
And I also think like, it's still letting them both be kids and they're settling into that role. Like it's the fact that it didn't put them together, I think is an extremely smart choice. But yeah, I just think it leaves that idea like very prominent, but still allows them to be kids and like reconcile themselves.
So for me, just like you, we're really well documented on our thoughts and opinions on her at this point, but I still do stick by the opinion that she's essentially just turned her character post episode 3 into just a fangirl for Naota. My reason for saying that is basically what she does in that one scene is essentially take over for where Samaji Mamimi was doing. So she's essentially trying to become wife number 3 by either teasing him, poking fun at him, doing things to just get his attention focused on her. Any attention, whether it be good, positive, or negative, is good attention for her because it's attention she's getting from her crush. So to me, she just kind of falls off as a character after 3 because she just kind of becomes more of a background fangirl.
I'm just going to say this to you, Vivi. You're completely wrong because she was always a fangirl of Naruto, and that is proven to fact in episode 3. Because guess what? She rigged the votes for him to be Puss in Boots.
Yes, we know. I've already spoken about that previously as well. She's been a fangirl, and she just kind of resides to that role of fangirl. She doesn't really.
So now that we've talked about that scene, Anthony, any thoughts on that last scene? Because we pushed it up.
I mean, I could see the read of like it would make sense. I still think it's a bit of a stretch.
For what?
I don't know, because I don't know how big this is in Japanese culture, but drinking after someone, I kind of see, because they made it very obvious, you know, but I don't know. It's just, to me, like as an American on this side of the hemisphere, that's not a super big deal. And I do think it keeps them kind of hopeful in that instead of, and that like she could like, God damn, this is hard. They're the kind of the same, right? Or sorry.
Yep.
It went back to the same,
totally.
The same dynamic before Haru, seems like, is they went back to that. But the only difference is now they have all of this knowledge of each other, right?
Remember Steins Gate?
No, I can't remember. Should I go back in time to watch it again? But I mean, what you might be saying is correct. Like the end game, the end goal. I think the me getting there is a little bit different than your path of getting there.
Sure.
So that'll be my final thoughts.
Amuro.
Can we get before we go to Armor real quick? I do think that if they had made the stories more similar to what they did with the manga, that I would agree more with you. But especially after having seen the difference between the two, they definitely basically sidelined more of her character in the anime where they.
Probably just means I'm better at subtext. Amuro, go.
Armuro, I really have nothing on him. Like I thought he was a fucking playoff character. I get that he's supposed to embody more of the childish version of things, but like the whole eyebrows that he gives him, I understand you guys probably read into that, but I thought that was just stupid.
No, it's not much to it. It's just a fucking mask.
Yeah.
Like Amuro, that's pretty literal.
I don't even see it as a fucking mask. I just see it as stupid.
Okay.
Salvador.
I mean, he basically the grown-up version of what's his name, the main character, and the main character is going to be exactly like him when he grows up. That's a joke, you guys. Also, I just like his eyebrows, and I actually like any scene with him. I thought he was a really fun character.
Yeah, I mean, my whole thing on Amuro is, again, I said that I think is a failed version of Naota, and I think that's true because it basically encapsulates. Or is encapsulated by the scene where Naota is going at Haruko in like full Atomisk mode, and he's just cheering for revenge. Amuro he clearly has some sort of past with Haruko, and he's entirely driven by his need for vengeance, the need for proving himself.
For me, I have to agree more with Anthony. There is more story than I think Anthony's giving credit for there, but probably. I do not see him as being a character that you're going to read a whole lot into. All of it's pretty much up front and just said. It's really pretty obvious on most of his character that he's more of just a joke character that's supposed to be representative of the third group, which is essentially just who is supposed to represent Earth, for lack of a better way to put it.
Naota.
I enjoy Naota's character. I liked watching him grow. I like watching all of the arc of him, like, we kind of come on to him as the sad-ish, not necessarily sad, but like just stuck in a rut because he literally says everything's ordinary around here, you know? And we find out quickly that it's because like nothing, like he's got a weird fucking life and he thinks that this is ordinary, but it's really not, honestly. Because like his brother like he's kind of living in the shadow, and he thinks to come out of that he has to become like his brother or like adults around him. And then essentially, you know, I'm skipping ahead obviously because we've already touched all this stuff, but essentially he learns that he's still a kid. Just act like a kid. You don't have to grow up to like be happy. And I think that's a point that they're trying to make. And again, I think most of the stuff I already covered with Naoto.
Think about the lyrics to Little Busters.
I don't know the lyrics to Little Busters, but yeah, I think that kind of sums him up as like, you don't have to be a kid to be happy. Or you don't have to be an adult to be happy. You can still be happy as a kid. Honestly, most adults are fucking miserable.
Pretty much the only lyrics to Little Busters are with the kids sing out the future. Maybe kids don't need the masters.
Yeah.
Just waiting for the Little Busters, and that's it.
Yeah. What about you, Sal?
I don't like the kid. The only time the kid is cool is when he's dual wielding. When he transforms the fucking dual wielding into one guitar, it is cool, but not as cool. So the kid lost me though.
That's fair. Yeah, one scene in like about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my feelings on Naota are best encapsulated by his relationships with everyone around him. And 5 and 6 for me are the biggest points of Naota, where he finally cracks against his ego and gives in to what he actually feels with Haruko, which signals the end of the series. And all the blanks in there, I feel like, are filled in on what we talked about.
So for me, again, and I said this before, but I'll kind of recap it and I'll try to keep it short. Honestly, Naota is my favorite character from the show. It's a close, like, if you want to give it any other character as close, would be Haruko, but they are essentially like tied for my favorite characters in the show. And for Naota, it's because I personally really relate to Naota. Mm-hmm. I said it previously, I'm one of two kids that my parents had. I'm the younger brother. My brother did a lot of things that my parents then expected me to do. People around me, not necessarily my friends directly now, but a lot of the people that knew me knew my brother, and I was expected to do things because my brother did them, which makes me feel really relatable with this character, because this character just feels like it's constantly being judged that they're not the brother. So for me, I really enjoy his character because it shows him basically going from, I have to do everything because he did it. I have to do everything because that's what I have to do to look good, because he's already set the bar high. And by the end of the show, it shows him, just going for what he wants, going with his own emotion, going with his own train of thought, and just doing whatever he feels like it would be right for him to be happy, instead of having to live in someone else's shadow. And for me, like, I just feel like by the end of the show, even though there is some certain routines that are shown to go back into, I feel like he ends the show essentially with the big burden lifted off of him, because he was able to, differentiate himself, basically starting from episode, 5 and forward, where he basically goes, I'm not him.
I agree. Yeah, he said, I'm no longer Takun.
Totally.
And so, like, that character just really resonates with me personally.
To finish it off, Haruko,
she's interesting. I'm at this weird spot with Haruko, because, like, she was kind of a dick the whole time, right? Absolutely. And, like, I feel like it's one of those things where when you're looking on to, like, someone else's drama, like, even in real life, if you're looking into all this, and I know he's like a kid, and that's obviously a huge part of this, but when you're looking on someone else's shit and getting up all their dirty laundry, I feel like if truly Naota is cool with what Haru did because of the experience and the knowledge he's learned of that, then I'm kind of cool with Haru. If he's cool with it, I'm cool with it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to be offended for him that she did all that stupid shit. If it helped him grow as a person and he believes that it truly helped him become what he's going to be in the future, then she's fine with me, honestly. But, like, she was a bit of a dick and extremely manipulative. But, like, it's almost like the means may justify the end in this scenario. And yeah, it's an appropriate response. You're right. This is like just kind of a like I keep saying, like, you can tell I'm not completely on board with this because how many times I'm rethinking about it. But like,
it's complicated. And that's why I saved her for last. She's a very complicated character.
And I think I'm just gonna leave it there.
Okay, Monkey, thoughts on Haruko?
She's just a fun character. I enjoy it whenever she's on the screen. She's hilarious whenever she shows up.
I enjoy whenever she's on screen too.
All right, and Matt, what do you think?
So for me, I really enjoy her character.
We'll come back
my
to you,
God.
Chris.
No, go ahead. I'll go last. It's fine.
So for me, I really enjoy her character. She's like my second favorite, or tied for first. She's always a ton of fun. You never know what you're gonna get. Even in the subsequent series, she's just awesome. She's always entertaining to see what the hell's gonna happen. I do have to say the fact that her character is manipulative, but like having already known that from the start and rewatched it again so that way I could talk about it with you guys, it kind of almost shows in some of the scenes that she, to me, has more like human moments where she's like questioning, like she doesn't question why she's doing it, but she's like, the fact that I have to do this, like sometimes, like it's just shown in kind of moments where like when she was proud, when she looks off into the distance, when she's like, when she can tell that he's seriously upset that she left. To me, the character is a lot more deep than cursory glance gives, in my opinion. And I just really enjoy the character because the more you watch the character, the more it's just like, even though there's funny and random shit going on, you do get more and more attached the more times you watch this series to that character.
Chris?
I kind of really differ here from Matt, I think. Especially rewatching, knowing how this plays out, I think she's even more manipulative. I think her only true moments of genuine like human emotion and kindness come in like the last 5 minutes of the series. Again, I'm just going to call back to her constant costume changes and my constant referencing of masks, an idealized version of self. And Haruko does not necessarily have one of those other than Atomisk. Her entire goal is to absorb Atomisk and become Atomisk. And whatever she has to do to get that is fine with her. It's not until Naota relinquishes the power of Atomisk, confesses his love, and kisses her that she ever is truly caught off guard. She's nonchalant in every other situation. And after that, she again has the conversation of, hey, do you want to come with me? And doesn't give him the chance to answer. She says, nah, you can't. You're still just a kid, or you're still a kid, and trades the guitars. And I think that is her letting, in a way, letting Naota live his life, because she has made clear that, you know, Naota is the first person that's worked for her for what she wants. She's still going to chase Atomisk, and that's fucking tragic, but she's learned a little bit.
I'd agree with that.
Because not only did she swap guitars, so in a way it's like, oh, we're leaving a piece of each other with, or we're leaving a piece of ourselves with each other. But she decided not to take what she knows is her best chance of catching the idealized version of herself. I think Haruko is a deeply selfish character that gets a little better at the end.
Can I ask or like bring up a like kind of some things that happened?
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily think the trading of guitars quite happened like you think.
What do you mean?
So the reason she doesn't know where her guitar is because when Naota, or when they were fighting, Naota basically deflected the guitar and it went flying. She doesn't know where it went.
I mean, I guess whether it's intentional or not, I think it conveys the same meaning.
And essentially she just takes the other one because that's all she has left. And plus it's part of Atomisk, so she's going to go ahead and take that anyway.
Nah, for me, it's totally a thing of they're going to carry their experience with each other.
So, like, for me, it's just like because he had to go searching and then finally found it is essentially the way it plays out. So he's just kind of clinging to the idea, and he did have a chance to respond to the going with her, but he knew it was pointless at that point because he knew that it wasn't reciprocated. Yeah,
and I think she was kind of also saving him that.
And she realized it after he didn't say anything for like a good 2-second pause, and was like, "No, you're just a kid. Save it for next time."
Yeah, I totally agree. Like I said, those last moments are the moments of goodness in Haruko. I do think she's still.
So I do want to mention one thing about that.
Yeah.
Just because I watched the last second, she cuts him off real quick, and she says Takun real fast after, and then it's like ... So like she's waiting for her to respond first before he responds, and she says your kid then leaves. I don't really think she gave him the option.
Okay.
So that's
That
a
makes more
difference in the way that the sub and the dub read, because the dub actually gives it quite a good pause. It makes it feel like she was waiting on him to respond, and he just doesn't.
Gotcha. I just wanted to bring that quick up.
Yeah. I mean, Haruko and Mamimi are a big reason why I think this, I said at the top of the series, is deeply heartbreaking, but very hopeful.
So I have a quick question.
Yeah.
I know Matt's talked about it already. Chris, who's your favorite character?
Yeah, I was about to say, let's run through our usual questions. Favorite characters, Nina Mori.
Nina Mori. Mine's tied, I think, between Naota and Mamima. Mamimi, sorry. Yeah, Mamimi. And Sal, I believe you said yours was Nina Mori as well?
Yeah, Nina Mori.
Yeah, sorry. I keep fucking it up.
And Vivi also said his was Naota, followed by Haruko. I think Haruko is my number 2. I think Haruko is so fucking interesting, dude. I could sit here and analyze Haruko all goddamn day.
For me, I'm just too personally invested in Naota, and liking his character too much, which I feel like makes me overly sympathetic to him.
Sure.
I mean, dude, that's legit. You like characters for whatever reason you want. That's part of the message of the series.
Any other questions?
I know we got a favorite episode. I feel like it's short enough.
Thought.
I agree. Holy shit. Hold on. Me and Monkey are agreeing. I don't like this.
Fifth.
Brittle
Anthony,
Bullet,
my
Brittle Bullet
man.
rules.
Yep.
Brittle Bullet is a very close second.
Number 5.
Anyone got a favorite track?
Honestly, I wasn't. I was so fucking high strung to try to get all the little nit and bitties part that the music was. I listened to it, but I didn't specifically didn't go look up what it was and stuff. So
Sure. I mean, mine is Last Dinosaur.
Okay. I have to listen to it. I can't tell you when right now.
I've got to
Might be
actually go
Little
look up
Busters.
the name real quick.
Okay. All right. So in the pantheon of shows we have watched, where do we place it?
I would place this for people who have been keeping up. I think third
Oh,
for me.
what was your previous third?
Previous third would have been
Yuri on Ice?
Yuri on Ice. Oh, that's tough.
Yuri on Ice, Steins Gate,
Yeah.
and Fully Cooley are your challenges, I guess.
What are you putting ahead of this, Anthony?
Ahead of this is Perfect Blue and Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to guess.
And then it would, dude, that's really hard between Yuri on Ice and Fully Cooley. I actually, here's what I'll say. I bet right now it would be Yuri on Ice and Fully Cooley. And I bet if I watch Fully Cooley again, Fully Cooley would take number 3.
Wow.
I bet that's what I'm going to go with.
That's so interesting. For me, again, I've forsaken the numbers.
Sure. Tier list. Yeah.
And I'm doing a tier list. I'm going to put Fully Cooley in A tier
I highly agree.
alongside Yuri on Ice. And the reasoning is because I fucking love dissecting this series and like really getting into the nitty gritty of it and analyzing everything, talking about every fucking line that everyone says. But if I were to watch it passively, I don't know that I would like it as much. And like, if you were to come to me and be like, hey, let's watch an anime together, I'm going to be way more excited for Cowboy Bebop, Perfect Blue, and Steins Gate.
That's fair.
Just to like sit there and watch those with someone. Like, fucking yeah, dude. But if you're sitting here and we're going to watch, or we're going to write conflicting research papers on Fully Cooley, let's go.
Sal, what about you?
I'm going to say 5.
Number 5.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to make a list on my computer and figure it out, but I'm just going to say number 5. I think the problem is I was watching all of these, And I remember this one a lot more fondly, and I think that's what knocked off some points for me.
Sure. So now we move on to our next thing, where it's going to be Sal's pick for our next anime.
Yeah, Sal. So, what are you brewing over there?
What death game are you going to make Anthony play this time?
Anthony does get to pick.
Oh, I get to pick again. Okay.
You get to pick, but I think everybody knows what it's going to be. I'm going to say, okay. First of all, I'm so excited because I'm happy this anime is going to be picked.
Okay.
Or might be picked. Okay. The first option, this anime is made by a famous manga artist who, he goes by One. And he is really famous for his satire and his story making. Number two, it's a shonen anime. That's your number two. Number one is created by One, a really good manga, not a really good story maker. Number two, it's a shonen.
Christ.
And number three, it has fantastic battle scenes, and the animation is fucking beautiful. Those are only three, Anthony.
So I'm going off of a manga artist. Number one would be the manga artist that
Named One.
named by One.
Yeah, his name is
Fucking
One.
hell, dude.
Oh, okay. And it's
What are we
satire
doing?
and something else. Number two is a shonen that was made by a manga
I know what
artist.
all three of these picks are.
And number three.
I can say I know exactly what number one is, and either choice is an excellent choice.
And then number three is a battle animation style kind of
Yep.
thing. Okay.
Can I answer before once Anthony makes his choice? Can I answer?
Yeah. Can I ask one more question about number one?
Yes.
What kind of style would you put that in? Shonen, isekai?
I'm going to say a little bit of
Shonen.
shonen, a little bit of story driven. Maybe some psychic stuff. Psychic shonen.
It's a shonen.
Honestly, I'll take number one.
Okay. Honestly, I'm glad that we're getting to do a shonen.
Yeah.
But also all three are the same anime. It's Mob Psycho.
Yeah.
And all
They're
three are Mob
the
Psycho.
same fucking anime.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't
piece
give
of
you a choice.
shit.
So we are going to do the first season of Mob Psycho.
No, both seasons because they're under 30 episodes.
Both seasons together are under 30?
Yep. The first season is 12 episodes and the second season is 12 episodes.
Oh, I'm down.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and the next choice was going to be Going Logan, but I think I'm going to put Going Logan. Maybe we might be able to get a guest. I don't know. But we doing Mob Psycho, boys. And I'm so happy because there's actually a lot of stuff for Owens to talk about in this. And the
I
animation's
have
fucking
not.
beautiful.
I've been putting off Mob Psycho, so I'm excited to finally start watching it.
Yeah.
So you haven't watched it either?
No, I like. I haven't. I've actually fallen way behind on One Punch Man too. But Mob Psycho seems interesting. It's supposed to be really good.
I've watched the first half of the first season, and I actually was really loving it. I've not made the time to finish that series. I really want to.
Honestly, I'm really excited to go on a diatribe about shonen tropes to Anthony.
Well, let's fucking do it, boys.
So Mob Psycho, we're just gonna go ahead and call it. Let's go since it's the first one. First 4 episodes of Mob Psycho.
Okay. Yep. First 4.
Available on Crunchyroll and Hulu. Yes.
Also looks like HBO Max as well.
It's available on everything. It's such a
I also
popular
saw
show.
Netflix too. Yeah.
Okay, so Mob Psycho widely available.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like it. I see it on like Funimation, like just quick Google. It's on Netflix. It looks like it's on Netflix, Crunchyroll, HBO, Amazon.
And just saying, you guys, I'm watching it in sub because that's how you're supposed to listen to it because it's so good in sub.
I'll probably do sub as well if I can find it.
Crunchyroll.
It'll be a mystery what I do. Yeah, so I guess that is it for our Fooly Cooly. Again, first 4 episodes of Mob Psycho next time. Matt, thank you so much for joining us. Fooly Cooly was actually a delight.
I appreciate it very much.
I'm happy y'all had me along.
Yeah, and yeah, God, it was
very interesting.
great to talk to someone who had seen a series 100 times and had a lot of thoughts about it. Let's go ahead and sign off here.
Are we doing the next time? Or what's up?
Does it feel right?
I don't know. I don't know if we do it actually.
I mean, I was going to until you guys started ruining my transition. Next time on My First Anime, will Monkey continue to kill my vibes on the outro?
Owens, first of all, I don't know what to say. My improv is really, really bad.
Will Anthony believe in the power of friendship enough to enjoy his first shonen?
Oh my god, I hated Naruto for this exact fucking reason.
What will Owens think of Reagan?
I'm sorry? It's pronounced regen, as in regeneration. Find out next time on My First Anime. Thanks again for listening to My First Anime. If you enjoy the show, tell your friends and leave a review. It really helps. I'm Chris Bailey, and you can find me on Twitter at Chris R. Bailey or hear me play Pretend on the actualplay.network podcast. And finally, thanks to Slink for the use of 12-speed as our intro and Winnie the Moog for the use of Speed Energy as our outro.
You can come to my stream, ST Monkey at Twitch, where the O is a 0 in Monkey, so make sure you guys remember that. I play single-player games and multiplayer games, well, sometimes multiplayer games, Tuesdays and Fridays afternoons. You can also follow my Twitter at ST Monkey, also O is a 0, and my Instagram. My Instagram is mostly containing dog photos of my dog. He's a poodle. And Shih Tzu.
You can reach out and contact us on Twitter at MyFirstAnime or email at myfirstanimetopodcast@gmail.com. And if you feel so inclined, my personal Twitter and Instagram are both Sir Paperplate, where you will find only pictures of my cat. And once again, thanks for listening to
My First Anime.